Yeah, you can click go whenever.
All right, clicking go now.
Oh, Stu,
Where do we go?
we should do the pose.
What are we, Sela now?
Yes. Well, we see the sealer. We see her. See her. Comedy.
This is not the place to come for comedy, guys. Just for the record. Welcome back, guys. It is time for another review. We haven't done a review in a while, so
We haven't.
we're starting season 5 of TNG.
Tinge.
And this is a part 2, obviously. Part 2, Redemption.
Yes. Although, really, if you took a very long break, you could be forgiven to think it was a part 2 in the sense of a similar story. It's kind of like, I'm just going to sidestep a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. This whole Klingon Civil War thing could have been like a 4 or 5 episode arc, though, I think. They wrapped it up pretty quickly. But anyway, that's okay, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's a continuity-based thing? Like, they actually had continuity. Goodness.
Continuity is good.
I hear that.
You've heard that before, yeah.
I've often spouted that as well. But yeah, we're here doing a full review as we always do. The unbiased, balanced review. We're looking at both sides of the fence. And then I should probably make a document for what our scores are, shouldn't I?
Probably. Might be a good idea. So guys, welcome back. If you haven't hit that like button, please do so. We've already got 24 likes, which is great. Great way to start off live. So if you're watching or listening and haven't hit like yet, I highly suggest you stop what you're doing, put it down, go to the computer, hit the thumbs up like button, and then go back to doing what you're doing, because I'd really appreciate that. I know a lot of people just listen to us instead of watching us, and that's fine.
But those analytics make a legitimate difference. So
yes.
You'd be surprised. Although you wouldn't be if you've been a fan of ours for a long time. I heard another someone say the other day how much our work's been great in this time of pandemic, so that's lovely. That's not something I really thought about, but lovely to hear.
It's always great to hear, absolutely.
Anytime we can help just by being us is a nice thing. Oh dear.
And I'm feeling better today. Yesterday I felt like complete ass all day. I was actually in bed for most of the day.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, I got my first vaccine shot on Sunday. Felt okay, and then yesterday afternoon kind of spiraled and just was in bed. So, but I'm feeling better now. I didn't die, so that's a good thing.
Did we think you may have?
I mean, no, not really.
But yes, welcome. I'll just start sharing. I'll get to
Go for
that,
it.
So I'll see you in a minute.
Yep. And yeah, this is Jericho. We do see the Excalibur. It is a Ambassador class ship, which I absolutely love. I do love the Ambassador class. So yeah, we also see, of course, the Nebula class as well. So, but anyway, yes, guys, if you want to get your, if you want to be able to help the channel, support us, keep us coming back to do these for you guys, a great way to do so is by sending super chats. Get your comment read for sure on the air. We do read all the super chats. Questions, comments, you can make us say anything you want us to say on air, essentially. So if you want to do that, consider doing that to support the channel. We will, of course, read those. Or you can also send us a PayPal. The PayPal information is down below in the description of every video. Send a PayPal to trekyards@hotmail.com and just let us know in the regular chat that you sent that PayPal, so we can access the email and read your comment or question via the email for that. That is another great way to get in touch with us and to support us as well. There's also a big join button down by the subscribe button. First of all, make sure you're subscribed. If the button is red, that's a red alert, means you haven't hit it yet. So by all means, hit that button and remove it from red alert status. My shirt is red alerts condition red right now, so that means that you guys have to hit subscribe. Also, make sure that you click the bell notification icon to all. But going back to what I was talking about, the join button is there as well. That is a way to join the channel and help us on a monthly basis by getting a rank of either commander, captain, admiral, fleet admiral, or Federation president. And those all make a world of difference, all those subscriptions. So if you can, if you're able to, we'd really appreciate it. Or head on over to Patreon/Trekyards as well. That's another great way. You can also head down to Trekyards.com. There's a donate button there. You can click that. And also checking out the links down below. We got lots of cool Trekyards merch and great stuff that you guys can have access to and show your Trekyards love and support by wearing Trekyards merch if you like that kind of thing. So Definitely lots of cool stuff in the descriptions. Plus, you can save yourself money on Eagle Moss models, which are great. Eagle Moss is a fantastic outlet for people who love ships. So if you want to get yourself some Eagle Moss ships, by all means, click the link down below, head on over there, and use the discount code Trekyards10.
Eagle Moss, you say? I know about them.
I did say Eagle Moss. Oh, you've heard about them?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. Wasn't sure.
Yeah, I think they're worth collecting.
I would say so. Yeah.
Maybe not they're the highest end of things, but they do stuff that no one else does, and that in itself is hella worth something.
I can honestly say I want Eagle Moss around when I was like a teenager and in my 20s, because I really wanted ships, and there was no real ships. You know, there was like models and stuff, but I wanted the little ships. And anyway, you guys are all lucky these days. Back in my day, we didn't have such fancy things.
I remember my dad got his first proper Star Trek uniform. TOS one was like, I wish I'd had this when I was young. All I wanted was this, and all the props standing, you know, full gold with. Yeah, it's like that's all he wanted. That's all he wanted. You know, it just took a while to do.
Simple things. All right, guys. So yeah, thank you for joining us. Like I said, hit that like button if you haven't already. It makes a big difference, and I want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this episode.
And hopefully it will come and join us, because obviously these are only achievably continuable because you guys join in. Obviously it's been a while since the last one, but hopefully you guys are going to jump in, make them worth it for us, and fun, because we want that back and forth. You know, It shouldn't just be us talking, it should be a conversation, and we love that.
Yes. Eugene, 2,000 rubles. Amazing. Thank you, sir. Amazing episode. If you watch 10 years after part one, if you watch them together, however, it's fine, but so disconnected from part one. Yeah, it's definitely, they're standalone for sure, I would think. The whole wrap up last time on was very quick and like, all right, cool, I know what's going on now. Because it's been a while since we've done these, so. But anyway, we're here now, and let's talk about it.
So, Stuart, what do you think of TNG Season 5, Episode 1?
I rather enjoyed it, more than I thought I would. Didn't quite remember it being as good as it was. Got to see, you know, the Excalibur, which is an Ambassador class ship. We got to see the Nebula class, the one that can't remember the name of it now. That Data gets command of. Okay.
Sutherfield, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, not a fan of the bridge of that one.
Who could be?
But it's it looks like almost like the auxiliary or the battle bridge. But that's kind of cool to see different starships and stuff. Also the whole Klingon, the Worf being a Klingon thing, how long that lasts, and even the Klingons, you know, hanging out with the people that just tried to kill them the day before. But you know, it's fine. We're all friends here until we're on the battlefield. I found that quite interesting, and I completely forgotten about that. Yeah, and then Sela played a pretty big role in this one, and you got the whole explanation for her, and it's like, okay, that's not bad. It's pretty well done. I just didn't remember a lot of this episode going into it, and I don't know why that is, because I rather enjoyed it this time. So overall, I thought it was a pretty good, not only part two, but a good way to start off a season. And the twist with Sela and stuff was kind of nice to get Denise Crosby back. So, yeah, that's kind of where I stand with this one. How about you?
Limited memories going in. Part one, I remembered more. And honestly, the only thing you take away from this is the Sela scene, which could be in multiple episodes. It doesn't stand out in this one particularly, and just the Data scene. That's the only thing that kind of stays with you, is just the Data moment as being captain. That's it. Because the rest of it is somewhat, well, put it this way, they're trying to do a lot of things and they do none of them well, which is kind of the problem. It's I didn't enjoy it very much, I'll be honest. I thought it was relatively poorly made, give or take, for what it could have been. It just wasn't very interesting, you know? It didn't grab me really, and I don't know how they didn't see it at the time, but the fundamental idea of their anti-proton net is just flawed from the start. So it was hard to even watch those scenes and feel anything, because obviously they just go up, down, or around, like just warp 2 light years that way and go through. So the entire premise is completely flawed, and so I was kind of bored by most of it, because even I thought in the first scene, pretty much after the Klingon, is like, this anti-proton net. I'm like, this is a bullshit non-idea. And so that's the entire episode. So it's
the only way. Yeah, the only way it would work is if they did it around Kronos itself, but that would get the Romulans right there, So
like,
yeah,
it's just a complete lack of tension. It makes Sela look stupid because she just like, rather than saying let's just go 1 light year to the left, it's like let's try and work out how to go through it. It's like, no, just go to the left. So the whole thing falls apart very quickly, and it reeks of a story where they had an idea they were going to go, and then changed that idea, and then had, oh no, we've got to write something quickly. This. Even though there's obviously money been spent on all the Klingon makeup, all the bridges, because they're now finally using the Bird of Prey bridge, which was built obviously for the movies. So instantly, we've got Brel, Romulan bridge, Sutherfield bridge. Like, they put a lot of that money in, all these lot of miniature shots, but just, it's a completely nonsense idea, and so there's like no energy. And even when Sela comes in, it feels like a very telegraphed scene where it's just there because the audience wants to see it. But the character of Sela, you don't learn who she is from that scene, really, except when she was 4, like, there's not much character there. I also can't believe Denise Crosby is 24 in this episode when she's clearly in her mid-30s, but she's not 24, But there's nothing I can do timeline-wise, but she looks way too old to be 24, anyway. So it's just... I can't watch this scene seriously, with the
being a Romulan will age you.
Sure, no, I thought that. And it's funny when you get to the end, I know people call this episode for the Data XO thing, but for the most part, the XO was right. It's just his tone of voice is not appropriate, but he was being very respectful in actions, and actions are more important than tone.
And even Data gets kind of snarky with him and won't converse with him at one point.
Yeah.
Does his thing, turns away, and he's just sitting there like,
well,
I mean, you deserved it, honestly, but from Data, it kind of surprised me.
It reminds me very much of the Poe Dameron and Purple-haired Admiral in Holdo. The captain doesn't explain.
You call her Holdo?
No, I said Purple-haired. So, if a leader doesn't explain anything, expects these subordinates to do orders without any sort of whatever, who's a non-officer they trust, of course the officer's gonna, what are you doing? I also have my experience. I know this crew. And so it was treated like that. Obviously, Data was right in the end, but he could have explained himself. He had plenty of seconds. So I thought it was a very odd one. And given the fact that 2 scenes later, Picard says, "You know what, Commander? We need officers that don't just blindly follow orders." Cut back to the guy blindly following orders when his commanding officer may get his own people killed. So should he not have blindly followed orders from his commanding officer to break his you know what I mean? Data's not in the right there. He's just the ends justify the means sort of situation. Like, he just should have taught. It's a very weird one. Like, they don't know. They've got too many individual stories, and none of them are given the depth they should have. Because that could have been a whole episode. And it was both people. Like, at least he was treated like a staff officer with he's being respectful to his officer, but there's no depth in that scene to keep going. So it was a, I thought it was contemplative there.
Yeah, Data not explaining himself I found odd. But at the same time, there should have been a line in there like they're monitoring communications.
Yes, that was the line. You didn't want
to tip your hand.
That was the line. Yeah. Yeah, they needed 2 lines to really help the script. That one, perfect.
Yeah.
And 2, they needed a moment. At the start where they say, "We've got Klingon fleets every other part. They have to come through this zone." Because there's no reason why Romans have to come through that zone. It's a huge border. Like, not even giving any reason for why this grid is a good idea. It's just insanity. And it's not like they're light years apart. They're millions of kilometers apart. Like, they're only one solar system, so I just go around them. It's a stupid idea that doesn't work. Very strange.
Yeah. The tachyon detection grid always bothered me for that reason, but
I didn't realize it was the entire storyline. I thought there was a whole load more, and when it's like, oh no, that is the entire story, I was like, oh, that's a problem. It's like the Red Angel suit, If it doesn't make sense going in, everything else you can't get really good because of,
Yeah.
It's very strange. I don't know what they were thinking.
Well, again, I think they're thinking 2-dimensionally. They're thinking like battleships or submarines, like a submarine detection net, where you literally have to go from the bottom of the ocean to the top of that's all you have. Unfortunately, those 3D realizations in Star Trek aren't really thought about very much, especially with borders and stuff.
Yeah.
So
it just makes Sela and Picard both look stupid. And given that Sela's meant to be smart, and that's her entire point, doesn't do well.
Yeah. Well, TX our way, £5.
Thank you.
Can't stop long, knackered after a long
no.
day of work. I wish we had seen more of Sela. The Klingons drinking together sums them up as a race. Yeah, drinking together, enemies that were just trying to kill each other the day before, and headbutting each other. And did you see the arm wrestling?
Yes.
They actually had knives put up on the table. So yeah.
Yep.
I didn't notice that till this time watching it.
It's, again, I think this should have been a two-parter because there's too many storylines. Because the Klingon stuff is more interesting overall, but it all takes place in the same two sets, which are both grubby, dark, and close-up. So there's nothing visually interesting, and it's the same scene again and again. Whereas, like, Kern actor is really at his heart out, and Michael Dorn is trying, but it's just the same room and the same smoke. You know what I mean? That could have been really interesting, but it wasn't. It was like everything was sort of mildly interesting, but never quite got there. But I get the money was being spread out quite far. It's very strange. I just think they should have cut one storyline. There were so many, and focus on
That's
other
why
stuff.
I said like a 4 or 5 parter for this one.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, would have been great.
Yeah, it was bizarre. But I honestly think they just wanted to rush through it and get over it with. Like, we set up a one parter. We haven't got any interest in really finishing it satisfactorily. We're just gonna finish it. Like, it didn't feel like there was much passion in this episode. You know, like it was just kind of like, even by the end, Worf goes back to the Enterprise without any sort of motivation, as in like for Picard as well. Like, it's been weeks. I don't even think Picard has the authority to give him his commission back right there and then on. You know what I mean? It's like just everything just happens to just get back to the status quo rather than a really satisfying. You know, whereas you would think, especially with the Romulan plot, you'd want to like double down on the cleverness, the intrigue. You know. Yeah.
I also wish there were more externals of the ships during the tachyon detection grid stuff. Would have been great. Like, we did see a small like fleet of like 4. There's like the Constellation class, the Galaxy class.
Everything we've made for TNG, the model shot.
Yeah.
And it's sad because that shot stopped like 1 second too soon. It's like as soon as the other ships, it's like, hey, oh.
I was trying to get a good screen cap of it and it started to fade.
Yep.
No, back it up.
This is the shot, yeah.
I was waiting for more ships to come into view, and it's like, no.
Yeah, it's just too many ideas, and they just under budget. Like, because when you have like, I mean, they had a lot of Klingons at the start. They had a good like 15, 20 Klingons. That's a lot of people in makeup, you know. And how many guest stars they had. I mean, everyone's in this episode. I mean, even O'Brien, even Troy was in this episode.
Was she though?
Lieutenant O'Brien feels more important than Tasha. Tasha. Well, yeah, than Tasha, but then thingy.
Eugene, though, 500 rubles. It kind of makes sense if galactic barrier exists not only at the Milky Way's perimeter, but above and below the galaxy's ecliptic plane. You can have triangulation detection networks just on Klingon-Romulan border. But the galaxy is very, 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 very tall.
And even if you want to say that, they made a distinct amount of distance between the ships, and there's only 22 ships. There is only a finite. So just go, like, put it this way, that is not even 1 light year across, that grid. So they could easily warp to the side of it in a second or two. Like, height is not even the issue, it's just length. And if it's like 10 light years across, then wait, what? How are you projecting tachyons through light years, literally light years of space, and then it goes to be light years tall. And then what if the 14 ships did attack one of the Federation ships? You're 12 light years away. That ship's destroyed by the time it happens. You know.
Yeah.
But I think part of them not even showing it on the exterior is because they couldn't represent it. Like, it would look absurd if they were literally all 22 in one shot. It's like, oh, that's like nothing. And if they're too far away, it's like, well.
Yeah.
Where's the sun? Oh, it's there. It is there. You know. I don't know. I mean, does anyone have an idea?
Well, how that could have been done better. That would have been good to hear.
Honestly, I think it would have been smarter if they had put like kind of like in the DS9 with replicating minds. If each ship had been given like 100 tachyon detection like emitters, and they were dropping them, and so they made this like. Because 22 ships dropping them every like 5 minutes for 2 days, you can do a lot of stuff. And so now you've got like a 5,000 grid. You know what I mean? You could easily up the scale massively, especially if all the ships like going lengthways because okay, depth fine. Like, you know, we managed to get 10 light years either way. I could buy that. I mean, it's a bit weird, but you know, 22 ships working non-stop every day. Yeah.
But the problem is there's a finite amount of room in these things, unlike Discovery. If it was Discovery, they would have like thousands of these things in the cargo bay or in the hull. Anyway, James McGill, $2. Wish these episodes of Civil War be expanded a few more episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say I wish that because I'm not really big on the Klingon political stuff, but this one definitely needed at least another episode or two for sure to really make it feel better. But oh well.
I mean, just bring in Seela, the idea of this, you know, and then to kind of start it, stop it, be done with it pretty quickly. I mean, she's in Unification, but is she in anything after Unification, or is that just her entire arc is in these like first 10 episodes?
I actually don't know.
Yeah.
It's not that memorable, honestly.
No, so. Exactly. And you'd think it'd be fun. Although I do like Guinan's scene. I like Picard's moment, but I guess it's just too full of stuff. Like they address everything apart from the tachyon grid, but it's just like very strange. Need at least a two-parter. Although where would you've ended it? Where would the halfway mark have been? Maybe the grid being set up. Like best of both worlds. First episode is setting up the threat. Second episode is dealing with the threat.
I think a good place to end for a halfway mark would be where they have to pull the Sutherland back and make the detection grid the weak spot and have her realize it and be like, that's like the halfway mark, and then the rest is like them trying to. I think that would be a good place for it, unless that's.
Honestly, I would also have had Seal actually get to Kronos. I think it would be far more effective if she's smart enough to get her single like if she does diversion, so 14 ships get detected and her ship goes all the way to, because think about it, she was on Kronos. So she did successfully get there and back to her fleet.
Don't bring that up. There are Romulans on Kronos, yes.
So, like, I know it's obviously a smaller ship, but just she literally got back to her fleet across the border, and they make it clear they do cross the border whenever the hell they want. It's no big deal. Cross the border tomorrow then, or yesterday, like, which I hadn't even considered until this moment. It's like she literally did the entire journey, and then just
have one or two ships cross, go outside the detection grid, get behind enemy lines, and then stage your ships over on the other side.
Yeah,
then cause a distraction with the tachyon grid, so they focus on that, and then you like go in.
And I was certain that the that in the middle they were going to actually have it be she sent like probes to distract them, and they were going to be, sir, they actually did signals, and they were going to slip through. But no, they just were. I mean, I did like when she guessed it was a ploy. That's great. And I love the duo there. And that's probably her best scene. Which is a bit sad. It's like one scene. But that's probably her best scene. Because it shows everything she wants to show. But then, yeah. And I don't even know why being detected would be the end of the world. It's like, just go back and try again tomorrow. The ship's not going to stay there, you know. But I guess it's kind of like Picard, where the threat's neutralized, we all go home. Like, that's part of the galactic agreement, you know? Oh, yes, Riker said go home, so we went home. So, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Matthew DeFreitas puts in $5.
Matthew!
So, are the space battles in Season 6 of DS9 just as flawed? The ships could warp around and fly to DS9 or Cardassia easily. No, they're not as flawed, because you're protecting a planet and or a station. Like I said, if they had set up the tachyon detection grid around Kronos, that's A, believable, and B, something that would actually be done, because that's the objective. So setting along the border when you've got access above, below, and to the sides, it doesn't work for me.
Literally, but if you're surrounding a space left and right, pretty much.
Yeah, but if you're surrounding a target like a planet, even a solar system, or a space station, no, that's absolutely fine.
I think it just means like Sacrifice of Angels, where they have to attack the fleet. But unlike the stealth aspect of the Romulans, the everyone else, the Dominion, are just trying to fight. Yes, they could fly around them if they kept the Dominion fleet staying still. But since most Dominion ships can also match top warp of, well, most of the Federation fleet can't go to warp 9.975. So yes, the Defiant could probably get around the fleet. Once it got to its location, there's no fleet behind it because people can meet you. So even if they somehow get around a Dominion fleet, if that Dominion fleet turns and attacks you from behind, you've now got a force from both sides. Part of the battle was to destroy the Dominion forces and keep them occupied to get through. If they're not destroyed, like, there's no point in going around if they're just going to meet you back there and you'll be slaughtered. So, you know, and like I say, most ships aren't as fast as the Defiant, they just can't be. So, you know, you're only as fast as your slowest ship, and they've got some slow ships. You know, so no, it's completely different. Like, you need to take out the ships. The ships are the big threat because they're what's going to come after you.
My thing is, though, this is such a massive plan that's been in the works for so long with the Duras. Why aren't there? And they're already on Kronos. Why aren't there cloaked Romulan ships already in the system?
Yeah,
just for this purpose. Like, you could have been sneaking them in for weeks ahead of time.
Well, no, the thing is, you assume they are because they are reinforcing the Duras, although they never say how they're helping them because they're not giving them birds of prey, are they? That'd be really cool if they did. That'd be awesome, actually. But they just sort of what are supplies? You need spaceships. Like, you don't need ground troops. No, it's true. And the fact that Sealer's Diderodex clearly crossed the border anyway. What about the guy that's left on Kronos? You know, yeah, it would have been nice.
Maybe she went in a smaller ship though. Maybe she went in a scout ship or something.
But the things you'd want to bring supplies to the people. Like, if you're going to travel all that way through Klingon space, through Federation space, whatever, you want to bring at least some supplies. I mean, remember, she's a smart lady, so they say. But it would have been nice to have at least one. It would have been a really nice payoff if at the end the Duras beam up and they appear on the Diderodex, like the one that's in orbit, and we're like, okay, so there is still a force there, but there's a grander play of, well, we can't risk it now. That would have been a nice reveal. Obviously, not Sealer on the ship, that'd be daft, but... Or if Sealer had never... Well, no, she was always there. But yeah, there's definitely better ways you could have handled that.
Well, the thing is, the Romulans couldn't get their hands dirty. They couldn't commit to it unless they're committed to it, you know? And they were just about there. So that's what this was about, because otherwise they basically declared war against the Federation. So...
But then they called the ships a convoy, not an attack fleet. And like you say, as soon as the Diderodexes drop out of warp, decloak, and start shooting on Klingon ships, boom, that's an intergalactic war, even if the Duras win. They've clearly spent 2 weeks of not doing that. Why would this be the moment to bring in 14 Diderodexes? That didn't feel like that was... It implied they were bringing supplies, like actual cargo, in which case, what... You know what I mean? How is that going to be so useful? And why is that the linchpin, just bringing in supplies? And if they are just going to cause war, yes, okay, Federation, but why can't they just go into the Klingon space? Because if there's a civil war and the Duras win, they've got all the rights if they want to say bring in the Romulans. Whereas he has to listen to... If Picard's not getting involved with the civil war, and yet he's taking instructions from the current leader, he's taking a side in the civil war. You know, if the other rightful leader says, I want the Romulans in... You know what I mean? So he's clearly is taking a side throughout the whole thing.
Well, let's get into the episode, shall we, guys? If you guys have anything to add, please do so. Super chats are a great way, like I said. So
yes.
So we start out with a really cool shot of a bird of prey, well, Kern's bird of prey with Worf on board being fired on by some other birds of prey. And it's pretty cool visual. The shield impacts and heading towards the sun. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's I love the fact that we've now finally got the bird of prey set up and running.
Yeah.
So this is the start of it. It instantly feels a bit... They don't know quite how to shoot it yet, but they've got it, and that means something.
Well, the problem here, though, again, is aft shields buckling, transfer power, aft shields are gone. Literally, that's the line from Worf. Aft shields are gone. We cannot win. Let's withdraw. And then they keep getting pummeled from behind. You see actually a shield impact after that as well. It's like, okay, what? It's a big complaint we have a lot, but it is what it is, I guess.
Well, it's beyond lazy. It is absolutely beyond lazy, and all they would have to do is just have a miss. But if all of your action dialogue is just shields down to 30%, you know, it looks okay internally, and it's nice to see Worf in that outfit. Although it's interesting to see him be bitch slapped by his captain, given that he's also the older brother. It's interesting how the hierarchical thing is that Kern, as a captain, can override his older brother when his older brother is in the lower officer position.
Well, it's nothing about their family honor. Well, yeah, I see what you're saying, but I think a captain's a captain.
Oh, right? No, that's what I'm saying. It's interesting. The Wolf doesn't want to challenge him there. But I find that the CG what there is not very good. It's okay at best. Like it's a very underwhelming start, but I think that's the entire episode. Like it sounds great on paper, but they can't realize it enough to be impressive. Like it just isn't an impressive sequence.
But you got to remember the battles we've seen up to this point. Like seasons 1 through 4, there's no real battles per se. There's some torpedoes being fired, maybe a shield impact. That's it. This was actually pretty impressive. And we're used to seeing the DS9 battles. We're used to seeing
but it's only like 3 shots, and it's like a little bit better, but it's not like a blow you away start. Like even at the time, you'd be like, okay, like it's okay, you know. It's not like this next level. Whereas if I'd done it, I would have built smaller bird of prey models and be able to do some cool stuff. It's meant to be the epic start. And also, I find it beyond silly that they do not have shields, and yet they can get that close to a sun. Is laughable. It's
Did you say outer hull temp? Like hull is overheating and whatever, but
you can't get that close to a sun.
What's furthermore is the other 2 birds of prey that are right behind them. If I saw somebody going that close into the sun, I'd maintain my distance until they exploded, or I wouldn't be right behind them. Like there's no need for that. You can tell their hull temperature's already exceeding tolerances, so let them destroy themselves. And I've completely forgot that this maneuver was done in this episode. It's a cool maneuver, jump to warp, flare up, but it just seems silly considering how close the other 2 birds of prey are to each other and to the ship they're following. Have one closer, one back for that's
or just keep firing.
Strategy, guys.
Then they're destroyed.
Yeah,
like they have no shields, and their hull is literally melting. Like one torpedo, they're dead.
That's a great shot, by the way.
The sun bit is definitely the best bit of the battle, but it's again an absurd non-battle. I mean, the entire point of Beverly having to invent sun shields is to survive this. A bird of prey can get this close, no issue. It's just a stupid scene. It doesn't work. It's a we have no ideas. Here's an idea that no one's going to care about. Although no slingshot, Stuart, no time travel reference. A bird of prey that close to a sun, flying through a sun's like corona, that is going to have some sort of wouldn't that have been lovely if they said, Kern, yes, Worf, it's yesterday. What? Okay then.
Look on the scanners. That's us. You see them warp away again.
That'd have been cute. Or if they'd save themselves.
The problem with the slingshot is you use the gravity well, you increase the speed and get slingshot around. So this is different.
I know.
But yeah, I know.
It would have been a nice reference to have something like, it's 1 hour later. I just think a ship can't do this. It can't survive this with no shields. It just can't. End of story. That's the whole point of later episodes. Not even a shuttle can. Not even the Galaxy class. So it's just a stupid beginning. Doesn't work. It's just bad writing. Sorry. Bird of prey looks nice though.
Yeah. Then we get Admiral Shante and the whole discussion about.
Oh, and Silent Admiral.
Yes. And 2 weeks have passed. We get that dialogue here as well. So 2 weeks between, I guess, the beginning of the last episode and this one. So,
which is quite a long time, really, considering everything that could be going on.
And then just talking about again the Romulans trying to destabilize the 20 years of allegiance between the Klingons and the Federation. And I love how the admirals are like, I'll have to pass this on, but mass your fleet. So they've kind of already made up their mind, like they know this is going to happen. But it's nice actually seeing the admirals on board the ship instead of on a view screen, because you don't get that very often. So
it does feel odd. I know it's for the audience, but for him to relay the point of this, like if they're working with the Romulans, and she's like, Jean-Luc, you told us this 2 weeks ago. We know
I've read the briefings on the way here. I'm completely up to date. I'm on your goddamn ship. Thank you very much. The audience. Oh, yeah.
Like I just find that a little bit funny, like how the hit paid like 101 it is. It's basic stuff.
Exposition dump.
Yeah, but I was amazed how the first scene in is like, we've got this way of detecting cloaked ships. It's like, oh, with that into it. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Although, boy, what was that with Picard sitting down in a very darkly lit shot? Like, as if they just didn't turn a light on. That was really weird. This is a lovely set, and they didn't light it well this week.
It's just night shift. It's just because you see
crew,
darker.
They're drinking on the bridge. Okay.
Yeah. you do see darker times where it's like clearly supposed to be night shift where they dim the lights and stuff. So I guess that's my guess. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they talk about the blockade and the attack and detection grids and stuff here. So
Mm-hmm.
again, and it's good catch up because you.
It's a good catch up. It's a good catch up, says Stuart Foley of Trekyards. But is it a good catch up? Great expression. It's a good catch up, Stuart.
It is a good catch up. Like I said, you got the last time on, you got the captain's log that leads into this discussion, and it's a good way to do the exposition and have it feel natural
And different as well.
Good job catching us up.
Other episodes.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think this episode
and relay new information, so you don't have to spend time with the rest of the episode doing it.
Yeah.
With the tachyon detection grid and stuff. So.
No, I think it's a better episode on paper, on script. I think these two scenes written, epic chase at a sun with Worf and Kern, bird of prey battle sounds awesome, and an epic discussion about this, like conceptually about what's going to happen, is all epic. Conceptually, it's just not quite realised. But yeah, this is not a bad scene, for sure. And then you get the assignments, and I'm like, this is the entire plot, isn't it? Nothing else is going to happen this week. It's like, this is the entire episode. Although I was wondering, why is Geordie sent not to be a captain? Like, if you need senior officers, he's absolutely skilled enough to be. Why is he Will's first officer? It's also his plan. Shouldn't he take his own ship?
Yeah. Well, I love the numbers here. They're like 12 ships within a couple days travel from here.
Yeah,
I can probably scrounge up. Yeah, I can probably scrounge up 7 or 8 more ships, whether they're ready or not. That's great. That's always good.
Although they say in space dock, it doesn't say it's in space dock, but it's like they're obviously not at Earth because Earth is many days away. So what is there a space dock on near the Romulan? No, near the Romulan.
Well, it would be near Kronos somewhere. Probably between Kronos and the Federation. I would be my guess.
Well, but are the Romulans? Where are the Romulans crossing? Are the Romulans crossing at the Klingon Romulan border or the Federation Romulan border? Because are these ships been given permission to go? Are they actually fighting at the Klingon border?
Yeah, I think it's the Klingon Romulan border.
So why would they have?
Since they're allies.
But that's quite far into their space. So they have ships 1 day away and in space dock. So they're building ships with that close to the Klingon, or inside Klingon space. So I love the idea of bringing ships aren't even finished yet, but I wish they had more time to spend on like them traveling, because I don't buy there's a space dock building.
It could be a Klingon shipyard that there's just
Federation
ships being repaired.
Would have been I don't know, just Klingon ships. Why couldn't they be Klingon ships? Wouldn't that have been a nice reveal? If they say, there's also 9 ships at a Klingon facility a light year away, Gowron says we can use them. It kind of goes against the idea of picking sides, but that would have been really cool actually. See like these ships side by side. But that's it.
Because he mentions the Tiananmen, Sutherland, and the Hermes, and I want them active whether the yard superintendent says they're ready or not.
That's great.
It's like, no, don't.
Tuesday. Everything.
Life support's not working. Anti-grav's not. I don't care. We need them.
Our warp course has a serene wrap on it. Whatever you call it, saran wrap. Quickly rips it off. Like, damn it! I was waiting for this moment, the satisfying moment. But this is definitely a scene you never see, and like Atchin Picard be a fleet captain. Does it ever happen again? I don't think it does. Well, first contact, but that's not the same thing.
Well, that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it's actually interesting. Riker gets command of the Excalibur, which is Ambassador class.
So I'm so glad we saw. I was worried we weren't going to know what class it was, so I was very happy we saw that one cutaway.
And Data has to pick officers for this, and then it's like the whole, what about me, sir? Hello. I understand, if you don't think Starfleet's ready for a android captain, and then Picard's tone just like changes, like shit. He's playing that card. All right, I have no choice. Yep, go, Mr. Data.
I was surprised by the tone of Brent's voice was, I'm playing the prejudice card. Yes. It's like, he really isn't though. He's just not thinking of you because you've never expressed interest in being a captain like you know, not, you don't command officers. You're an ops person. Like I was surprised how like and it basically left him no choice, and then because like, well, this is perfect for you because now you've made me make you. It's like it's a bit of an odd scene. It's kind of out of character, I think, for Data, but he is out of character the entire episode, give or take. He's a little bit off. Because they kind of need him to do something else, so it's a little bit odd, but
we find out too he has 26 years of Starfleet experience.
Which
this
you
point.
can't disagree with.
He's been in Starfleet for 26 years, so.
I mean, if I was Picard, I would have thrown him as a captain. Let me just be clear. Instantly I'm like, yeah, my entire bridge crew, like, yeah, obviously. But it's odd the way he plays that card. I wish he had not said because I'm an android. I wish he just said because I'm operations or because I'm, I don't know, something else. I also like how he says, Picard says, we're sending our crews to augment the other crews. I would have loved if there was some line later on saying, we've got a skeleton crew on board because there's so few people on those ships that like our Enterprise crew are 1,000 people. I've got 100 people left. This is a skeleton crew fleet. And then suddenly like you've got this great scene, if you had more sets obviously, of like this botanist who's now chief medical officer on the USS Fathom. It's like, I'm an ensign! Your chief medical today, and it's just like the Worf's fifth in command is now the head of security on the. It's just like, god damn it, I've got responsibilities here. Like, wouldn't that have been a great scene? Just like seeing these ensigns and like lower decks people or middle end people just be put in command. I thought it'd be a really fun scene. See, 3-parter. Could you imagine if you'd seen like the Picard story, the Data story, the Riker story, the lower decks person story? That'd have been great.
He even could have shuffled Wesley off to another ship to help out. In some capacity, because he's proven himself quite a bit.
Well, he's not on the ship though, which would be hard.
Where is he right now?
At the academy.
Oh, did he get? Oh, that's right. Final mission last season. Forgot about that.
But I agree. They could have made that kind of funny. Like he actually came on one of the ships, like a test ship. I would be kind of with it. Oh, I'm Wesley too. Hi, Wesley. He's like, oh, you were staying on one of the ships. Cool. Okay. Well, this would have been nice to bring back other captains from the past. I'm not sure who they've had left. Or like Admiral Cheyev would have been nice. Although I guess couldn't have had Admiral to take over, but this would have been nice to like bring some other captains back.
Would have been even better if you're going to stretch it out 4 or 5 episodes. Have mixed crews, Klingon and Federation crews, like we saw in First Duty or whatever. I forget the name of the episode where Riker goes over. That would have been interesting. But then again, you're really getting in bed with the Klingons, like. The Federation is just trying to.
Yep.
So, yeah.
And Airship One says, but I'm a barber. I've never operated a warp core. Chief Engineer Mott. But no, and that would have been fun actually if they'd forced to commit.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a barber, not a doctor.
Exactly.
What?
But but I think like by episode 4, if they'd said, right, we've got 58 ships and we're committing now to Gowron's side, and the only legal he's only gonna let 50 ships enter Klingon space is if they have Klingon crews as well. Like, that could have been a good payoff. Because it's quite a big fleet to have in Federation space, Klingon space. Allies or not, it's probably never happened before.
Yeah, see, we don't know exactly what the political structure is like. We have heard that like I said, with the exchange program where Riker goes over to Klingon ship, it's like there's not a lot of mixing of the crews or so they're at peace, but they're not like, anyway. Then we get the whole Klingons hanging out. I love the arm wrestling. I never noticed that before with the knives. That's pretty brutal. But basically talking about some of your men almost killed me yesterday. Well, it's pretty great. And Worf's all, you're striking with the enemy? This is neutral ground. We'll fight on the battlefield. I think it's great. Get a real insight into Klingon culture. But yeah, just the back and forth between them is really great. And I don't know how I'd feel about that, honestly. It's like you're enemies, but you're not enemies because you're all Klingons. But you almost died yesterday because of this guy. So I honestly don't know. But it's cool.
It's a hell of a surprising reveal. Like they play it like any other Klingon, and then he's like, "Yeah, this guy tried to kill us yesterday." It's a really hard-hitting little reveal because, like, what? This is probably the best moment of the episode in terms of like universe building, because that's a really interesting situation. But at the same time, well, at the same time, it is very sort of they're following flags, aren't they? It just happens to be you want this guy. Happens at the end of the day, we're just the grunts, the grunts. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just really wish, this is my biggest problem with this scene. This set is crap. It's blank walls with red lights. It doesn't look good. It doesn't work very well. You know what I mean. If it had been more interesting and more money spent, just to make it look a bit more like I know it was a hero set, but like the DS9 where they like find Martok the Changeling, that set's amazing, incredible. It adds every shot looks cool. Every close up.
It looks like a nightclub or Jabba's palace.
I was gonna say Tatooine. Yeah, but just all the close ups are dull, like ugly. It's not nice to look at, and there's only so much of that I can take because it's just the lines are very basic. But if there was more Klingonness to the actual around it, so I wish they'd spent less money on the extras and more money on the set. That's just my balance there. But yeah, I like the idea of it a lot. And although Worf certainly feels out of place, beyond out of place, but again, this is probably the very first time he's ever actually hung out with Klingons, besides the 2 weeks.
There is a moment after he talks to his brother where he embraces it and he turns and he's smiling, and then you get him framed by B'Etor and Lursa talking about how he's not like his brother and we need to spice up the deal for him, bring him to our side. So you did see a moment of him just reveling and being a Klingon with his brother, which was nice to see. But
although we never see that, we never see him like have fun and drink like he does in DS9. I know it's not part of the episode, but there's no real satisfying payoff there because like this is his first time really being with Klingons. Is this a great thing for him? Clearly not. He leaves as soon as he can. But there's no development there beyond this one moment. It would be great to see him like drink and whatever. They don't give us that because they cut to Lursa and B'Etor, which again feels odd that they're literally the heads of the enemy state are in the same room as you. Like that's
Gowron comes up behind them after the camera stops. Hey girls, how's it going? You having a bad time out there? Wow. Hey,
like
this is neutral ground. Here we're all
see
good.
the scene always needed that. Obviously Gowron just responded like, "Hello, Duras, I'll kill you tomorrow. I would. Oh, sorry. I would kill you, but not today."
It's like Highlander. It's a church. It's holy ground. You can't fight there.
So I found that very odd. I wish it had been a monitor, like a spy cam. Then they'd be like in control, like a Romulan spy cam. Although, boy, this to me, because the set is so weird, is that Nimbus 3? Like, because the movies are at the same time, right? Is that the courtyard of the... Like, I've just brightened up and there's palm trees back there. They never go outside. Is that just Nimbus 3, the set? When was this made?
Maybe.
Because they got the Bird of Prey now, and they didn't have the Bird of Prey until Star Trek 5, because 4 was the different one. Because why the hell are there palm trees there? But it's
because I never noticed the palm trees before.
Exactly.
Stop pointing things out. Damn it. Wait a minute, that's what these reviews are about.
Yes. So season 5, Redemption 2. But I really wish spy monitors, because that would have been a lovely transition into like Seela. Like she's bugged Kronos. Like how impressive that would have been if she's bugged Kronos and she's watching everything and she's like got a camera in Gowron's private room and you see 3 whores just having a go at him and it's just like this cutaway. It's just like wow, we went interesting here. Let's see. 1989 and 1991. So yes, it could have been. Nope, it would have been destroyed at that point. But but that's okay. But it could be maybe what was left of it.
That's very interesting, though. I never noticed the trees before, so thanks for ruining that for me.
Because I feel like I remember those pylons from the courtyard, and they could be in the bar area. Because we said it looks like a bar. If that's the Nimbus 3 bar set, just without the extra props, like it's just a room, isn't it?
Yeah. Oof. Next scene, we get to see Nebula class in.
Why is there a dry dock on random planet next to the Klingon neutral zone?
Is that McKinley Station?
It is. It's McKinley Station B.
Cool. It's cool, mind you, but
thanks for them for doing it.
Anyway, we get introduced to Commander Dickhead here.
Yeah.
Christopher Hobson.
You can't smile.
Actually, I kind of like the guy. I kind of like him. He could definitely be like a nice guy. You can tell. And just his coldness to Data is interesting. Even the way he says, I'd like to request a transfer. There's like, okay, why? He's like, well, I just don't think I'd be a good first officer for you. He says, frankly, I don't believe in your ability to command a ship. And this I found this interesting. He said, you're a fellow officer and I respect that, but no one would suggest that a Klingon would be a good ship's counselor.
Which is fair.
Which is
stereotypically fair,
but not all Klingons are warriors, as we found out in Enterprise. Or that a Borellian could be an engineer. Now that had me interested. What is it about Borellians that they can't be engineers? Are they stupid? Do they not know math?
Should have said Packlids. Should have said a Packlid. That'd been funnier.
I totally agree. But what's with the Borellians?
Is it? Oh no, I know it is. The Brilliant Sphere. It's the guys with Galaxy Quest, the little grey guys. They're too small to reach the.
And the beryllium patch.
Oh.
They're tailors, maybe. They make fabric.
And spheres.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, I love how Data's like, request denied. Good man.
It's the thing that really strikes me is the crapness of the set. Honestly, I wish they just used the Galaxy class set and lit it differently, because it's the same saucer. People are smart enough, I think that would have been fine. Just have a different crew, light differently, have it, you know what I mean? You don't need to have leftover set number 3, which is tiny, and if you look at like the consoles on the wall, they're just flat panels, like it looks so cheap. Because it is.
It also looks like an auxiliary control room.
Which would have been great if they'd said the main bridge was inaccessible, wasn't built yet. Now that would have been cool actually if they'd said, yeah, our main systems aren't built, this is auxiliary control. But again, lines of dialogue. So yeah, this guy's odd because you don't know anything about him, right? He's lieutenant commander, which means he is already going to be second in command of the ship anyway. If the ship is being built, then it hasn't got a captain yet, then he is going to be second in command for the captain. But he's also the one, just like Decker, who's working out.
He's Decker.
He's Decker, yeah. He's the one who's in command of it being built, rebuilt, refit, or whatever. He knows the entire crew. He knows the people. He knows what it's capable of. Data comes in, doesn't know any of that stuff, and you don't know him personally, and you only know his record. And his record, he has some things like taking over the Enterprise, etc. So trusting any captain is hard. You don't know this person. And he's being honest straight away. He's like, I don't think I'm a good second in command because I don't know if I can trust you to value people. Yes, his tone isn't nice, but he's very respectful. He's actually incredibly respectful to a T.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's absolutely at the line, but the line is where you need to be. Do you think Riker's polite to Jellicoe? Yeah, up to that line. Don't act as if this guy's unusual. This is guy.
No.
This is absolutely if you've got something to concern about, this is how you can do it if you really don't believe in it.
Plus, he's also pissed that he was supposed to have this assignment.
See that,
and
yes.
Those orders probably went through, and then because Picard already had sent it through, and then Data had his little talk with Picard, and Picard's like, shit. Well, yeah, the Sutherland could use a captain, he said.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. I didn't even thought about that. No, you're right, because he would.
I would have been a little bit pissed too. So.
Well, he's not a full commander, but he doesn't need to be. No, you're right. I wish he'd said I was going to be acting XO. I know this ship. Until like I said today. Now, that's a great point because Data doesn't know anything about this ship, and the crew's important. And what if he served in the ship for 20 years, etc.? Well, that's not possible, but so I think it's just his attitude, but not his actual actions. Although Data's fine about saying no, like they're both fine in the right, in my opinion. It's just oddly blunt. But day one, I don't think I could do the job so well. So let me off the boat, pal.
Yeah. And Christopher Flores says someone donated 2K. That's 2,000 rubles,
which is still wonderful.
Rubles. So that's yes, but it's not $2,000.
No. Oh, that would be lovely.
Yes. But anyway, yes. Now the odd thing is the very next shot where you see the fleet, and again, you don't get to see the fleet as much as I'd like, but it looks like at least the
Ah, sorry. Yeah, Adrian, me too. Chavash. Sorry,
There we
Stuart.
go.
What was confusing?
Anyway, as I said, the fleet. You get to see a little bit of the fleet. I was waiting for a better fleet shot, but they cut it off too soon. So you see the Ambassador class, the Constellation class, and the Nebula class. The Nebula class looks like it has battle damage on the nacelle, which I found odd, because why?
Oh my god, it does.
Was it an uncompleted
What?
ship? Was it just damaged? What
What?
had caused that? And they would have had to add that to the model, like
Well, it could just be still damaged from being the last time we used it.
Wolf or Battle on Wolf 359.
No, it was well, the only time it was the
The
one.
Wounded.
Yeah, that guy. But I don't think it was damaged in that. May have been, but I don't remember.
I just thought it was odd that was there.
Never noticed that. That's a lovely touch. Yeah. No,
it also actually kind of looks like the Constellation's damaged as well on the left-hand side.
It does, yeah. Well, I mean, they clearly they just like pulled them out to do one thing. Like it's just a quick, and the fact that we don't even get to see the part with the Ambassador, it's like why even bother having that in the shot then and using all that time to try and motion control it, you know?
Yeah.
If this is the one selling shot, it doesn't do so well. And also I was expecting, I'll be honest, to them all jump to warp. And he's like, "Let's go." That would have been like a moment, you know. But you know,
we didn't get that.
no. And then we get more of the exact same room from season 4.
Yeah. And here Scylla's on Kronos. Worth pointing that out.
With her guy, with her second in command, who's obviously on a ship later as well.
Talking about the arrival of the convoy, and they're talking about the Federation has scrambled at least 20 ships, and that Picard's in command. So, and the kid is like, "What should we do? Should we attack? Send the child away, or silence the child, or send him away." So Sela says her and Movar need to return to Romulus immediately. Have all available ships rendezvous at these coordinates in 2 days. So it's giving a little bit of a time frame. So they got to get back to their ship, and all this happens within 2 days.
I don't know why they're not crossing the border now.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like you could be bringing people across.
Oh no, only 6 ships worth of supplies. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a completely flawed, like basic story. It's hard to get invested, honestly. Although I do appreciate the relative power that the Sela that Denise Crosby has in this scene. She's not particularly just like the Orion and Discovery. Yeah. She hasn't got that vibe, but she's got this odd control vibe. Like she's in control. Like this guy who feels more powerful than her. Like in his looks, is more angular, more dramatic, and yet she's so blatantly over. And also obviously with the kid line, like she's in control of the room, and you sense it without actually that physicality, which shows you that she's mentally very good. She's got the respect. It's respect over fear, which is a nice thing to have for Romulans. And then it's nice when you see her ears be the bit Vulcan-y, like. Although I kind of wish they put more makeup on her. I'll be honest. I wish she was a bit more Romulan, but the ears they're enough. They're fine. So I kind of like the vibe here. This is a good setup. There is literally no payoff for the Sela character. It's a decent enough setup, but it's not so great.
Yeah.
And then we get the smoke.
Olivia Julius, though.
Oh my God!
Is here.
President.
With $5. Let me guess one word that'll be in her super chat.
Pugs.
Pug. Vicious.
The
All right,
Puggy-on detection grid, Stuart. The Puggy-on detection grid.
Puggy-on detection grid. That's great. USS Trekyards. This is the USS Julius requesting to dock. My crew is tired. It's been a long road. Looking forward to playing with the Puggy pin. Julius out. Permission to dock approved. I guess.
Kind of trailed off there a bit, didn't you, Stuart?
Yeah, I was like, should I give her permission?
Anywho,
this next thing I don't understand, because they're talking about reinforcements. How can they continue to fight? And then the one guy comes in and basically says, "You failed as our leader. I challenge you." And there's no time for this. So Worf gets in the middle of it, and Gowron gives him like a sucker stab around Worf, and the guy's like, ugh, like looks at Worf. It's like, how dishonorable was that? That the Chancellor just stabbed this guy. Like at that point, the Klingons around there should be going, "This guy ain't honorable. What the hell?"
He bitch
But it
killed
just
him. Like bitch slapped
it's just
him.
kind of played off like, yeah, whatever. Now the war can continue. It's like, okay, perfect.
Yeah, this scene was a straight cut. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like straight away, I'd give this budget to the Sutherfield. You know yeah, right.
Sutherland.
I didn't even consider. Yeah, it's so dishonorable. It is. It's fundamentally dishonorable. And Worf is dishonorable in trying to stop them because, as you've said,
Yeah.
a lot of times, he's the most Klingon because he actually knows the rules. He would know this. Clearly, he's been allowed to be in the private court of of Gowron. He should know all this stuff, and him.
He didn't think the Gowron would do that, though. I don't think he was trying to literally say we don't have time for this shit.
I just meant the fighting bit. Like he should know this is really important because this is part of why we're having problems with Duras, is that we didn't assert ourselves when we could have. You know, so yeah, you're right, absolutely a flawed scene, and doesn't add anything. Just that, and you know, and as with all things, like, is a single stab wound going to kill him? No.
I mean, possibly, but
it doesn't play that
still,
well. And also,
for it to go down like that, right there in the Chancellor's, like, no, that's not honorable at all. There's nothing about that that's honorable.
I honestly thought, and I actually remember this. I'm guessing it comes later on. I actually remember him stabbing Worf. I thought he comes in, stabs Worf, throws Worf off him, and then really kills the other guy. And I was just like, oh, he did stab him.
Oh. That would be better. That would be better, honestly.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's what happened. Plus, it's just really grey with Misty. It's just a bad scene overall. It's not very good.
Although the throne room scene set is pretty impressive. I do like it.
But
again, like you said, lots of budget here for all the makeup, all the costumes. It's a wasted scene because it's so short. So
yeah, it's like I said, this is another scene that added so little, but it was another concept of Duras, of Gowron's leadership, of Worf being against Klingons, against the culture, classic stuff. But there's just too many storylines in this episode to give any of them really any meat. So yeah, 100%.
Matt Boardman, $10.
Oh my god,
Matt.
Is that for Marina who walks in? Because Marina's now in the scene. 10 for Marina.
Shit, that's Deanna's appearance. Yay.
Her appearance fee.
Matt Boardman, $10. Given the budget and time they had to film things back then on the 26 episode season, versus what time they have today, I'm quite impressed with what they were able to do with the resources they had. I'm super impressed considering the shit you see now should be head and shoulders better. And effects wise probably is. Like we said, it's kind of like movie quality effects, but yeah, the fact that they were rolling these out, and we've talked to the designers too, having to design a ship from concept to finished model within like a week or two at the most is phenomenal. So yeah.
And you've seen the difference in what, like, some Discovery teams have 1 week to make, and it's called the Gen Hay, and you're like, ugh. Really? That's what you did, eh?
Yeah. Matt Boardman, I think a drink must be taken for every pug reference. No, I would die.
We would be dead long ago. I agree to some extent, but that's the problem with this episode. They spent money on so many different things that nothing got the budget it should have. Like, yes, limited time, but they should have tried to do less and do what they did better. Because they didn't do much very well. Like, there have been better scenes. Like, you know, there's so many examples, but of previously, it's just a weirdly distributed episode. Or it should have been always. Or you know what it could have been, Stuart? I think it may have been a 2-parter, and they had to cut it down to 1, but they had to cut down the scenes. But they said all the concepts, and so therefore, we do need a Derek's Bridge. We do need all these things. We had to build everything, but we didn't get the secondary budget to really kind of refine them. You know, the fleet shot is one shot, and it's disappointing. So I know what you mean, Matt, but there's still standards to have at the time. And like the last time was a better episode, certainly in this one, I think, because it did a lot less, but a lot better with a lot less. You know, like it achieved. So it's tricky.
Mebnil, son of Korlak, puts in $2. That's
Awesome.
A fantastic name.
Love that.
The Duras have no honor.
Yeah. So
Pyridon says, but Gowron has no honor. The Gowron has no honor. As we see later in DS9, he is just better option for stability in the quadrant. So just stabbing this guy fits the character. It does, absolutely. but it just, I guess they're trying to set up maybe that Gowron is like that.
It doesn't come across that way though. It comes across very blunt, like, oh yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, and everybody on staff there is like, yeah, that's cool, it's fine.
And you know what? I actually thought, and I don't know because we introduced him earlier, I thought this guy who got stabbed was the guy from the bar because he kind of felt like another
It's
big.
not.
No,
It's not the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like because then it would make sense. He's like, you got through all my guards. Ah, good, you've made it. Like that would have been really fun. Like add the extra layer. Yeah, he's been a Dura supporter for the last 10 years, etc. It's just some guy.
Yeah.
Just some guy.
Olivia Julius, $5. This episode is brought to you by Instacaptain. Are you a first officer? Do you want to be a captain? Call us and you will be promoted. Just don't ask us how. Call 1-800 kill the captain.
I want to be I've been trying for 6 years. He won't do anything to help. You want me to do what? Okay, no, I think. No, that's pretty drastic. That could work.
Commander.
You know what? I'm just gonna. Okay, I think I'm busy on live, so I'm gonna have to come back. So I'm just gonna. Okay, yeah.
Oh, you just muted yourself. Yeah, I didn't hear any of that conversation. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's good. No, it's good. So you're gonna be busy later. You got a phone call to make.
Oh dear. Do you like my bit there, Stuart? That was a bit.
That was good. All right. Well. Yeah. Anyway, the fleet's massing and no uncloaked ships within sensor range, and a really cool visual for tactical.
Yeah, this was lovely to see.
Yeah.
Although he does say uncloak, which I know was a pet peeve in Discovery because it's decloak, but the fact that he's here is like, oh man. But it sounds so unnatural. No uncloaked ships. But I guess decloak is the act of decloaking. Should you say no cloaked ships? No uncloaked ships? I don't know. It's a very inelegant way of saying it, but
it is. But Olivia says bye, Stuart. Aw. Mibel, son of Corlock, $5. Glory to Trekyards. I killed that dishonorable Ptak Fleetpaw. Oh, that's who that is. Okay. Fleetpaw. Fleetpaw's changed his name. So yeah, deploy the fleet. He contacts Riker on the Excalibur and says it's time to deploy the fleet. Dun dun dun. And then we see the Sutherland. It's nice seeing the Nebula class again, though. And yeah, there is battle damage on the saucer as well. Now that I'm looking at it. So yeah, it did get hit in the wounded. It got attacked by the Cardassians, but we never really saw it or the damage, so I don't know why they didn't just fix it here. But anyway.
And did you notice Lieutenant O'Brien?
Yes.
Massive demotion for DS9. Like seriously, he gets flung out of Starfleet is how demoted he gets. In terms of the officer branch. Yeah. Although something about this version of the Nebula, like the model doesn't look as good as the one from the Wounded. Like it looks fatter. It's the exact same miniature, but the way they shoot is like, I don't know. It's just it feels it feels more like this was a Playmates model. Look how thick that saucer is. You know, like they look good in that one. For me, this one doesn't look as good. Like it looks okay.
It's interesting actually because it doesn't have the wraparound windows on the edge of the saucer like the Galaxy class does.
I mean, it's a cheaper miniature, which is why, but it just doesn't feel as elegant as the other one.
Things that make you go, Olivia, Julius, $2. Glory to you and your puggy. Yes. Thank you, Olivia.
There's also an MSD or a display issue in this first shot. There's a neck going out behind the weapons pod, but there isn't. The weapons pod goes out further than the ship, so it's a little error on the ship design. But that's fine. I mean, whatever.
Well, this is the whole radiation leak, and he starts shutting systems down and telling crews to do their thing, and you should probably check with me first. And they're like, okay, everything's back online, everybody's dying over there. Okay, what should we do? Shut everything down? Because honestly, yes, you should check with your commanding officer, but at the same time, when I heard this line, how many times does Riker start barking orders without checking with Picard? Because that's his job.
Stuart, the answer is all the time.
Exactly. And Picard occasionally will go, no, countermand that order, hold up for a second. because that's the first officer's job. So I don't like that Data did this. This was unnecessary and is just reinforcing the fact you're an idiot to this guy. But at the same time, he's also trying to get that respect that he deserves as being captain.
Well,
so it's a tough call.
Earned it yet, though.
But the way he does this is so childish. Even the tone of his voice. Anyway.
Yeah, conceptually, on script, it may have worked. But like I say, it's a flawed scene again. Like I said, it's this guy's job to do this. You're reprimanding him for not just standing there waiting for orders, given that he knows the ship, his crew, all the systems better than you do. Yes, you might technically know them, but like you're not getting reports from every division. He is.
And look at Tapestry. You don't get noticed or promoted if you just stand around and wait for orders. You need to have initiative. You need to, same with a job, you need to have initiative to do things.
Well,
to get that raise, to get that promotion.
And not just that, but Nebula's a pretty big ships. These aren't like a Miranda or Excelsior. He's a relatively high-ranking officer in the chain of command. Like, he has earned this position, we assume. I find it very odd. And I'm absolutely fine with the single reason this guy doesn't like Data is because he may not choose human life over, or alien life, life. But that needed to be made much more clear. Like, that is the one reason. Otherwise, it just feels petty of Data. Because he is being petty. It's very odd. And it doesn't make Data look good. That's why I said he's out of character a bit. He wouldn't do this in other episodes.
Yeah.
He just wouldn't. He'd work with his team. He would want to be a good... Good captains are not what Data does this week. He's a bad captain this week. He's proving he shouldn't... While he may have got the technical job done, he hasn't earned respect. He hasn't earned... camaraderie. He hasn't earned anything that is to do with the crew. He's actually alienated his crew semi on purpose. So it's not good on him. It really isn't. And while this guy isn't being very polite to Data, Data's not being very polite back. And the captains don't have to be polite.
Yeah.
But he hasn't earned the respect either. So it's a very odd scene.
It just, they feel like hormonal teenagers that are being petty with each other, especially later, where the first officer comes out and goes, so what do you have planned? And Data says something and turns his back and just walks away without actually giving him an explanation. If I was the first officer, I'd be like, shit, this guy's going rogue. Can I control this android? He's 20 times stronger than me.
No. I don't even think it should have made clear that he was, he's not racist against androids. It's just like, what if this guy says, you know what, the 100 officers that I've been serving under the last 5 years, they're expendable for the sake of the mission. Like, a computer might choose that, and Data is a computer as well, just a very advanced one. So I just wish that was slightly more clear. But also this scene, like, this extra subplot is not necessary. Like, it's another sort of scene. Interesting by itself.
Give it 4 episodes, you could have fleshed it out better.
Yeah. And have a really strong payoff at the end where they both come together. Like, it would have been great if Data...
hug and kiss and have a drink.
Oh, they get well, he is fully functional.
The programmed are multiple techniques. A wide array of pleasuring.
Our first gay second in command, making out with our first android. But no, seriously, like, seriously. It would have been great to have a payoff at the end where Data actually chooses to save the second officer and the bridge crew as opposed to finishing the mission. Proving that he does value the greater good of the crew, because the crew is...
Yes.
Like, that would have been lovely. Like, no, I am a good captain where I need to be. It's just, previously, that would have been great, but there's no payoff here. Neither of them are right, and that's kind of the problem. There's no good payoff. Except Data technically, but it's not earned. Yeah,
Devo 77X, we said maybe the battle bridge or an auxiliary control because the bridge isn't finished yet or damaged.
Great line.
Because the rest of the ship is damaged, so it's from the outside. So.
Oh, actually, it could just be damaged. And hey, let's be honest. What if the captain died previously, while he's there refitting the ship? Imagine he's got a captain complex. Like my captain died, and now I've got an android to replace him. Our great captain of 10 years, and he walks in, risking our lives.
Even more layers. I love that.
I mean, like I said, this guy is not the villain here. I do not think he's a villain. He's not very nice, but who the hell knows,
Olivia Julius, $5. Want more Stuart, more Pug, and less Samuel? Check out the Captain's rant alert.
Well,
Captain's log. Head on over to Captain's personal channel. Thank you, Olivia.
And I can confirm they are quite ranty.
And I've recently heard that you should be doing more single videos on your own, by the way. So
Oh
just putting
God,
that out.
like anybody else for that? Sure they did.
Yeah, they have actually.
Oh yeah, one person, one person.
No, more than that, more than that.
2 people.
Ozzy Maderos, $5. The main fleet here, the main fleet have their shuttle bay doors closed, I guess. Federation President Skeleton Hands, okie dokie. Yes, doors should be closed. Unless you're going through them, then they probably should be opened. Just saying.
Stuart, do you have any Tums? We need to close the damn door.
Oh my god.
Do you get it? Do you get it? Do you get it?
Yes, I get it, unfortunately. Squadron course, $2. Do ships usually have battle bridge and auxiliary control? At this point, probably, yeah. Back in the day, TOS, there was no battle bridge, I guess. There was just auxiliary control. Unless you look at the Franz Joseph blueprint, there's a battle bridge and an auxiliary control. Hard to say.
I mean, it's a relative thing. A battle bridge is important if you separate, which most things don't anyway. I mean, you could probably argue there are a lot more ships, but an auxiliary control is a very general statement. Why would you not have a auxiliary control station? Just in a general concept.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say they should or could, but why wouldn't you? Especially with big ships when you have plenty of space, relatively speaking.
But here we see the Excalibur bridge, I guess, maybe, on the view screen.
Sorry, I can't see it. What's going on?
I was hoping to see more of it because I love the Ambassador class. I want to see the MSD behind Geordi better, but it's just so like, oh, I'm so disappointed.
There's again too many. Like if they were going to do that, have like the same class of ship, like have three nebulas so you could be on the same bridge, or have a galaxy. Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's very and why you can't even use that bridge? I guess it's being used for something else, but it would have been nice. There's so many bridges in this episode. I wish they'd been able to use the Star Trek 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whichever film was going on their bridge and do it like the sea again. That'd been great.
Could have been filming one of the movies at the same time because they're usually like right across the hall.
Yeah.
So
wouldn't have been, again, you assume impractical, but to have it be this far away is such like a, we know we haven't got a set. Let's put them as far away as possible. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Olivia Julius, $5. Want to see more of Samuel and less Pug? Check out the Commander's OnlyFans page, where we answer, is that a tribble or real hair?
Goodness.
Commander Cocking's OnlyFans page. Oh my god.
I mean,
that's great.
Goodness. So
swipe up.
Yeah, swipe right for more. And this is great. We never see this many ships. You got the Ares and the Hermes and the Titan Unmen. The Merrimack. Hey, Merrimack! Isn't that the alien race that were weird earlier? The Merrimack.
Not that I can recall.
What with Data that he zapped the water fountain with the Merrimack going to come destroy them?
Oh no, that's the
Sheliak.
Yeah, the Sheliak.
Damn it!
And then there's the Husak as well.
Yes.
Which I always get confused, the two of them.
The Merrimack.
Charleston, Ajax, Excalibur, Akaki, Endeavor, the Thomas Paine, Ares, Enterprise, Hermes, Scudard, Trieste, Hood.
This is a good one if you want to get like names for ships.
Yeah.
Ooh, and then you get a great Romulan bridge. Now this I was quite impressed with. This I thought, I know we're going to see it later in the season, so I thought they'd spend money. But I thought this had a nice vibe with the L cars and the logo. This I thought was the most successful of all the sort of bridge designs and like vibes with the unique color palette and the awesome chair. This I thought worked really well.
Yeah, I do really like the Romulan interface here with the tachyon detection grid. That looks really good. Nice colors.
Yeah,
I approve. Mebnil, son of Korlak, $2. Yeah, that's a swipe left, Sam. Sorry. Aww.
If you must.
So okay, it's okay. You'll get a subscriber. Don't worry. We'll keep promoting it. Anyway. So yeah, they figure out that, oh shit, they're going to detect us if we cross. Okay, well, I'm issuing orders to find a way to penetrate this field immediately. Good job. Good captaining there, Sela.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And this surprised me because I'm assuming the border's literally between them. Like, he's literally like 45 meters from the border, because otherwise she's decloaking inside Klingon space. Like, it's so close. Like, it's a visible line
Close
between
enough
them.
to smell them, sir.
Yes. So I found this I was surprised by this moment. And then Sealer appears. And I thought it would be a bigger moment. But it's just kind of like, we're going to throw this ace in the hole halfway through the game. You know, it's like playing poker and like you got two aces, you're only in the second hand. It's like, there we go. So, but this is the one thing you have. Like, this is the special sauce. That, no, here you go. Although, great again, lovely colors. Like, that is a very, very well constructed view screen shot. It's one of their better ones.
Yeah. Olivia Julius, $5. The Merrimack is a river in Missouri. I would spell the river correctly, but I'm blocking Sam's only one fan account. Yeah, this is actually weird. I never even considered that they're basically nose to nose.
Yep.
Which is a bad visual because, yeah, is there like a border? Boom. It's like 10 meters wide. And then, yeah.
I mean, there's obviously no Klingon Romulan neutral zone.
Exactly.
Well, unless they're both in it, in which case neither have the rights to be in
jurisdiction to do anything. Yeah,
it's very strange. They don't really think about this in this episode. This honestly feels way more Discovery as an episode than normal. I'm kind of shocked by how much more Discovery it feels.
Harshness.
Yeah. Did you notice? Where are you, Stuart?
I'm here. I'm here.
Do you notice when Picard's like, "Oh, Tasha Yar," and O'Brien's like, doesn't give a shit. There's no expression.
Even later, no. I want to point that out later, where Steela pops up on the monitor where they're holding Worf. Take him away. You'll have your chance with him later. And Worf's like, all right. Doesn't even. That's the first time he's seeing her.
That's true.
No reaction from Worf.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about
that.
No
reaction from Worf at all. He can see her on the monitor, and he can also hear the voice. And it's like, oh.
It's my dead XO that I mourned a year for. That's so interesting. Yeah. I mean, at least you get the Deanne Troy reaction shot, but boy, undersold moment. My God.
Mark, $5. Sorry I'm behind getting this chat out. Was having problems with the phone sending.
Oh, no.
I always think back to the earlier scene when we see a bullying engineers.
In this episode? I know we made a joke about that earlier.
I don't think he's thinking this episode.
So there are Bolian people. I wish they put more Bolians in Star Trek. I like the Bolians. They're blue bald guys. But then we get the crush.
Did you say blue bald or blue bald? Because blue bald.
I said what I said. But speaking of no blue balls, you got the one woman scene, or the two woman scene, and they get this is their entire scene. They're both together, and it feels very not patronising, just like, and we're gonna give them one scene, the girls and off. Now, to be fair, there's too much in this episode. No one gets much screen time, so this isn't any against them. That's fine. Well, I was waiting for the moment when Beverly's like, we'll take a DNA sample and double check. I know that comes later, but I was expecting that moment this episode, but okay.
Well, she does say she reviewed all of Tasha's records and Tasha never gave birth, so this bitch must be lying. And then I love how they mention she could be a clone, leading into Nemesis.
Romulans do like their clones.
You know that Romulans like doing that kind of shit, so that's great.
But they have no cybernetics, Stuart.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
Shout out Bash and all that. And this is I think it's relatively well done in the abstract of explaining the Tasha Yar situation, but it's so much the episode given to this when the episode's so packed with other scenes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Guinan comes in and news travels fast and talks about Tasha Yar and how you basically sent her to. You don't know what happened, and he's like, "You came on the ship a year after she died. You never even met her." She's like, "I know that." But she asked about the Enterprise C, and he knows right away. Do you know what happened to the last ship named Enterprise? Oh, the Enterprise C. Yeah,
I mean,
great.
You'd know.
Well, of course he would know. I know, but it's just good conversation. But he's like, why are you asking? What the hell does this have to do with anything?
Yeah, it's because I mean, there's no connection there. Like alternate universes, there's no, until you have to point it out. So it's a pretty decent scene. Although I don't appreciate when she says, "So this is all because of you."
Yes.
It's like, sorry, who's to say she's even in command of the situation? She's one of many officers. Why is she the one that's been talking to her for the last 20 years? What do you mean? She could be anybody. She could be what's the other Romulan guy that we all like?
Tomahawk.
Yeah, I thought it was such a disrespectful thing when you have no evidence to say that. Like, you could say she's here because of you, but not it's all your fault. What a stupid.
This whole situation's your fault.
Like, no, you know nothing. You're a bartender. Go away. So I thought that was a stupid line. Stupid line.
Stop sampling the goddamn drinks. God damn it. And coming up here and bugging me with this.
I know I can give you real booze, but that's for special occasions. You know? That Aldebaran whiskey I've given you. It's green, I know. Don't keep drinking it. Yeah.
Then we get Worf talking to his brother Curran about Gowron's lack of honor, essentially, from just what happened. And I love Curran. He's like, what's wrong?
No, what are you gonna say? I love the idea of this little scene.
So now you don't want to back Gowron. I never wanted to back Gowron in the first place, but here we are. He's the head of the. We're doing what's best for the Klingon. So you need to check your shit at the door, bud. It's great. It's a great conversation. I actually love it.
Yeah, that's the thing though. The Tony Todd really good. Michael Dorn really good. It's just the scenery, the lighting, and the set design. There's so much they give, but there's only so much you can get from the scene. Although briefly, AC goes, he's here, finally here. I asked, have we talked about the Data as a Southern captain? Yes, we talked about those scenes twice already. The guy's not the villain. He's fine. Watch those scenes. Don't want to go into it again until we get there again. No, I absolutely love this. It's like, you made this, Worf. You literally made this happen. Yeah. We are sold on him. Made your bed. Lie in it. I've killed people for him now, mate. And obviously Worf isn't around this stuff. He's like, the Chancellor can do that? It's like, yes! You didn't know Kempek. He was great, but also a dickhead. Like, yeah. You can't just depose people because you don't know what they do. He's your leader. Accept it. And Klingons do accept the control their leaders over. Like, Federation are sometimes trained to not just take orders. Klingons aren't. They are like, you take orders or you challenge for death.
Yeah.
Like, you just take it. So
either shit or get off the pot.
Yeah, so I really like Kern here for sure. I think it's very effective. And just, I mean, the frustration he's feeling at his brother is like, you arse.
And then he storms off, and all of a sudden it's like, and they go and they dogpile on Worf and drag him away.
I literally love the turn of the actors. He goes, wait, and then turn. Yep, we're not even going to wait 1 second. 1 second. Instantly. Although it does make you think, like, this is neutral territory. Why is, and this guy's second in command of one of the top in command people. Why is no one stopping him? Like, there's a big, I guess they forgot the earlier scene.
No, they got paid really well by Lursa and B'Etor. That's why. I guess.
Who did?
These guys that are attacking them.
But Kern's guys should stop them. Like, they've already said it's neutral. There's people from both sides here. Why is he not being protected? Like, there's a disconnect from the last scene. Don't mention neutral if it doesn't matter. And Worf isn't going to walk into a Durrus-only bar because he knows he's not comfortable with that. So, yeah, doesn't really make sense.
Oh yeah, because that's mentioned earlier too. Like, his men are all around, but so are mine.
That's the whole point
in that first scene. Yeah.
So it doesn't make. No, it would have been great if these guys had actually pulled out disruptors and started killing people and then punched Worf. Much more dramatic, but the scene again doesn't make conceptual sense. Unless you're implying Lursa and B'Etor like are in control of everybody, in which case why the hell aren't they winning? So, but they just have to get him. Like, there's not really, there's a lack of thought here. They just kind of move on.
Olivia Julius, $10.
Oh goodness!
Want to see too much of Trekyards? Go to the Teespring store and get great merch like shower curtains, socks, and a pug in a mug. There's no pug in a mug. Go to the link in the description below. Yes.
Please.
Teespring store.
Buy a shower curtain. Do it the wrong way. Let us watch you shower. Animated us anyway.
We're not on the shower curtain. It's the Trekyards lady.
Oh, well, let her watch you shower. There you go. Speaking of letting someone watch you walk onto a ship, wasn't it weird that I guess she beamed over the neutral space? Like, she beamed over the border. She trusts Picard. Like, no guards. I was so blown away that they just cut to this scene. I'm like, really? That was a weird thing to cut to. It just didn't feel quite organic to me. I know she wants to meet Picard, but we haven't really set that up yet. But it's just like, why is there a... Okay, you know? Does that seem weird to you as well?
It did. Yes, absolutely. For many reasons. Like, she thinks she has the upper hand a little bit with her being Tasha's kid, I guess. But
oh, she blows it
still,
instantly.
Yeah,
she blows that entire advantage by explaining it. No mystery, no.
Even just having a shot of them walking down the hallway with like two guards for her, and two Starfleet guys behind those guards, would have been better seen. And then cut to this. The guards wait outside. She comes in.
Yep.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But.
Yep. And I understand the idea of the scene, but it does feel like Denise Crosby is just kind of giving the speech. It's a very important speech, but it's a speech about someone else. You know, it doesn't. I know there's this, in that sense, it's quite good that she's actively pushed away her mother to the point where she doesn't care anymore, and so this is a story about someone. No, she's not she was my mother, but she really wasn't anyone I loved or cared about. So there is that distance, which is fine. But this seems to be so much better, so much more gritty and strong, and Picard's very simple in it. He's very strong, but he's very simple. And the fact that he blows straight into, well, the Enterprise C, and she's like, yes, here's my backstory. It's like, okay, we're done. Like, that's the scene. There's no mind games. There's no back and forth. There's no strategic. It's just a very blunt scene. Doesn't pay off that well. Like, I wish she'd said, she walks in and she says, Captain Picard, I've been wanting to meet you. Yes, me, you. My mother once said that you at Alpha Procyon 5, you saved her life, and you said to her, one day, start with a really intense story to make Picard, think, and then maybe you cut to, a new season 1 shot of her playing Tasha with Picard, you know what I mean? So you can film a new scene of season 1, show something really powerful, but the way they play it is so down the middle,
Yeah. Well, it starts out to the point you have 23 ships along our border. What should I tell my superiors?
Yeah.
For humanitarian reasons.
Yeah.
He's like, no, we're just here to make sure that nothing happens. You could send ships across at any time. Or no, she says we could have cloaked ships go across the border at any time. You wouldn't even know. He's like, why don't you try? It's like, wow, that's a good poker playing, Picard.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they both get their hands very quickly because they're not there for that. They really aren't there for that. Although it's funny, the fact that she says that, she's like, oh yeah, I can break a treaty with the Klingons at any point. It's like, well, we should stop you then. What do you mean? Don't do that. No, I just think it really had so much potential, this scene. But again, this should be a 3-parter. Give it a nice chunky scene. You're right, that walk up. Give Denise that scene. She beams in with 2 guards. You see the long walk. Maybe Deanna's watching her and says hello, I'm Deanna Troy. I don't care. I'm here for Picard. Walk straight by her. She's upset. Really chunky scene. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good explanation. She was a baby, 4 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Mom tried to take her away, cried for her dad, and got mommy executed. It's good job.
I love the story. It's a great story. I just wish it was more grittily told with some other stuff.
I wish it would have been told over the course of a few episodes. They see her, they don't know what the hell's going on. They eventually get a DNA sample somehow. They find out it is related to Tasha. What the hell's happening? It should have been stretched out a lot longer, but whatever.
It's just bluntly here. Like I said, as if they just want to rush through the story. Because at the end of the day, they want to just finish and be done. This is the reveal of the entire episode, of the entire 2-parter. Oh, okay. Good story. Well, and I also really wish she'd focused more, because I kind of oddly, from her performance, obviously she's very committed to the Romulan ideal, which I like how committed she is. That's a nice touch. I actually wish she had said, "I know my father loved her," but that wasn't enough for Tasha. Like I wish, like with the Klingon Romulan hybrid people, like there is some love between people there, even if they're like, oh yeah. I really wish that had been made clear because it comes across either as a hard rape situation or a he fancied her and she did it to save her. I wish it was more like, no, he fancied her, like he thought she was genuinely really hot. Like he was weird for that, you know. He was looked down upon because he liked a fancied a human, but it kind of comes across as also other things. Especially the 1 year after they got together, it feels like he just went and raped her and had a kid. But I wish they hadn't taken that approach. You know, like it's
well, it sounds like she was a prize of war because they took and so you maybe started out that way and developed into something else, which is what it feels like to me. So
I mean, it was the flagship of the Federation. Well, it was the flagship. So a prized possession as the flagship, and if they scanned her, then she's in the future. So I mean, it's not that hard to work out if someone's in the future or not.
I doubt that happened, honestly.
Well, no, sure, but in the actual context of the show, it's not that hard to scan someone and say you're out of sync, and you're not on the ship's ships, ships. Because I doubt they suddenly invented a new personality and like computer record for this person in their database, because she doesn't exist. Yeah, like they don't expect to be captured because the ship's going to get it's going to get destroyed. So, and because Narendra 3 never happened the first time, when they come through, they don't know any prisoners survived because that's not the reality they came from, or went to. Sorry. So, here's this woman in a different uniform with a comm badge that's more advanced, who's not in our spy database. And we know there are spies in Starfleet. We see it in TNG. I'm sure there was in the Enterprise C. It wasn't that long ago. It was 24 years. So she's obviously from the future. Like, you know what I mean? There's easy ways of like, there's something special, which is why the general obviously fancied her, etc. Alternate reality. Well, still another reality is also the future. Like, it's still the future, just sort of a different reality, which actually is fair. She wouldn't know the real future. That's fair. So that would be that would be a nice sidestep, actually.
Olivia Julius, $5. This is for Samuel. Pug. All right. Area 51, $2. Tasha's dying words. Or grounded. Yes. Yeah. And Norman Buckwald, the only reason Tasha agreed to be consort had to be sparing Castillo's life. I would buy that. I would totally buy that. And saying that, yes, he's alive, he's in a prison, live with me, and he'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But still,
Well, no, I mean, she came from a family. She came from a bad planet. She wants to help the people. So, my life for these people, and you do get the sense that General she did spare them. Which makes me wonder, where's Castillo? Like, I would like to know where his story went. That would have been a great person to bring back. A half Romulan, half human actor who played Castillo back. It's like, he also married a Romulan woman, and also like a son, and he also looks like himself. Well, that'd be funny. Oh my God! Looks like the Admiral Captain Rachel Garrett's accidental weird. Oh my God! They harvested an egg from her, and now it's why there's so many Romulan hybrids. Goodness.
Anyway, moving on. Worf is getting all aroused by being licked and stuff, and then he's like, "Oh, it's you." It's great.
I love the commitment of this actress. It's remarkable, and given this all one long they've obviously filmed it like a long set of takes. Hella commitment, and boy, eating the guy's beard. Didn't know that was a Klingon thing, but nibbling on the beard. Yes, look at that hair.
Had mine bitten before. Oh, not pleasurable. Oh. Anyway. This whole thing of the Duras kid, he's a bit of an idiot. He needs a father figure. You could marry me. You could raise him. All the spoils. You'll be treated well. It'll be awesome.
Oh no, Stuart. Oh no. Oh no, Stuart, where did you go?
Hey, I'm back now.
Hello.
This is where the computer beeps, and it's Sela. Enough, Lursa, you failed. And there she is, clearly on the monitor. I need to know the strength and capabilities of the Federation fleet. I don't have time for this. Turn him over to the guard. You'll get him back later. Clearly on a goddamn view screen. And Worf's like, all right, cool. No reaction at all, which bugs me to no end. But okay.
Yeah, so I'll just briefly jump. I do like this scene. I like Worf's like, a woman. Oh, you. Like the tonal shift is wonderful because he's into it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what a way to wake up. Like.
Yeah, you know, and the fact that I actually genuinely get the vibe that which one was it? Was it Bator? I don't know. One of them.
Bator, yeah.
Like,
versus the older one.
I get the genuine sense she's like, you're actually a really hot alpha male, Worf. I would legitimately, I'm down. Like the way they throw out, oh yeah, it'll be her consort is like, oh yeah, of course. Like weirdly genuine, and we'd seen them with Picard, and it felt slimy. It felt rather sincere, as old as that is, which was quite nice. But boy, yeah, that view screen that blows me away. I never could consider that, and literally no reaction. Like literally, like not even a remote reaction. And also the way he walks off feels so unlike Worf as well. He was like, oh yeah, prisoner, because we've just got to move on to the next scene. It's very odd. Yeah, weird. Oh, and then
Jarzia.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Jarzia, $5. Doesn't it seem odd that the same Romulan who view humans and disabled people as inferior, disposable, would allow a half-human that high in the military? Depends who her daddy is, though.
Yes.
Nepotism is great, especially in political circles. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you are right. But that tells you she's that damn smart. That's the point. She got this far, like Shinzon. He got that far because he's but they say in the thing he's an extremely good strategist. So because they're that good, etc. But then you get a scene which again I found odd. Gowron's on the view screen. Clearly Picard's choosing sides. Clearly Picard's engaging. It kind of goes against last episode. I know stakes are raising, but it doesn't feel connected to last week when this was the entire point. And then you get the wonderful sign off of, oh, and by the way, Worf's probably dead. Hope he died well, bye. It's like, oh. Yeah. And then Worf's not, and then Picard's almost non-reaction. I know we've said that before where Data, his reaction to Data's death in Picard is absurd, but he responds to people dying of his crew who are his good friends often as a...
That's more paperwork.
No, because he's got to be upset, and that's, It
shows professionalism, though. You mourn later. You deal with the situation at hand. Yep. You're not even sure he's dead yet.
Oh, God,
so
absolutely.
Why bother worrying yourself about it?
Although, it confused me. Why are we seeing the Vorcha? Are we saying that Gowron warped all the way to his border just to tell Picard that he's been whatevered? Why is there a Klingon ship there? I mean, clearly the council chamber. Like, they didn't need to cut to a ship. He's not on a ship.
It's a very good point. I never considered that,
why?
It's a high-speed courier. It's bringing the message.
A real-time message, yeah. I thought that was dumb. It's totally just unnecessary. Like, it looks cool, but it's just... Now, if there was in the detection grid, perfect. But they're not. It's just weird. Then we get...
see the Excalibur.
Sorry, is that the Excalibur, Stuart? Or is that a damaged Enterprise C again? Well, it is.
Look at the saucer. Yeah, the saucer is scuffed the hell up.
Well, it's the same miniature shot as all. I'm joking. Like originally, there's the anomaly in the right. So it just annoyed me. It's like good we get to see it, but it's the same shot. No more points for reuse.
So here's the big plan of the Excalibur falling back with engine problems. Take a few ships with you, create a little weak spot, and they'll go through there because we got to force them to make a move. But yeah, good luck, Will. Good luck, Captain. Yay.
I'm surprised that Riker isn't in this one more. Like, it's good to see him be Captain Riker even for a few seconds, and he's full on Captain Riker this week, but he's just not in it enough. And yeah, the plan, it's no worse than the rest of the plan. What can I say? Like, you know what I mean? It's just equally as bad. I can't say anything else.
I love how the next scene starts. Like, they need the Duras need more reinforcements. You mean they made a mistake and now they're crying about it?
Yeah.
So, I just love it. It's like we don't. They're kind of idiots.
Well, it shows how much potential this Romulan sealer stuff has. A lot of potential, and it's just completely underdone. You know what I mean? Because this is a good little scene. She's powerful. She's in control. She's smart. I love because they're hatching this plan, which I love. Although the way it's framed, she's doing a thing, and he walks in. And it's like, the ship is no. Well, he says something else, but she says to him. So he's said something to her, and she's like, "What about the detection grid? Oh yeah, I have news. We'll lead with that. How long have you been holding all this information to tell me?" Like, it's such an odd thing. It's like, oh, by the way, this thing, very important information. What are you on about?
And then in real time, there's the ship falls back. Got it, warp engine problems, whatever. Oh, look, we got a gap we can go through. Oh, no. It's exactly what they want. Think of all that's happened here. Hold on. For just a second. I just realized how cluttered this is.
Okay.
Enterprise and her ships face to face. She's left now. Vorchaw's come in. Oh, look, here's the Excalibur to join them. And now, what is happening? There's a lot going on and no real sense of time. Like, how far is the Excalibur from the Enterprise for this tachyon? Like, literally right next to it? Like, I don't understand. But anyway, that's fine.
And we know Sealer ship is literally 45 meters from the Enterprise. Does that mean the 14 ships just like in a line? Like, you know, it's not good. It's not good stuff. It's not well thought out.
Because Riker had to get back to his ship, issue the orders to do the... It's like...
And wouldn't it be suspicious if 40 minutes after meeting the Enterprise, oh no, my ship's damaged. Like, you'd wait at least a few hours, at least. And it wouldn't be Riker either. It'd be someone else because it's too convenient. Because I mean, these guys are watching you. They're literally, you know, a ship's there watching you, scanning you. It's very strange. And honestly, why warp nacelle problems would force you to leave? That has nothing to do with the tachyon grid.
Yeah, she actually actually says something about their warp drive is failing.
That has nothing to do with anything. That would not be a reason. It would be main power's failing. There we go. Warp drive. That's not a thing. Like, it's not an unimportant situation.
I do like the way he's like, let's go through here, and she's like, no, that's exactly you can see the gears churning. That's exactly what he wants. Let's blast this tachyon, whatever, this weak spot right here, and she even says the android's ship. Like they know who's on what ship. So anyway,
yeah, and the fact that I like the idea that she's using their fake distraction to cause a real distraction because the whole grid's out of whack. Because obviously they even if Picard thought the plan wouldn't work, he didn't think they had a counter plan, and so everything goes from bad to worse. When I like that idea of like, oh, perfect, we can use their own fake ploy to actually disable them. Although, and I find this funny in a minute, they disable the ship on the outer edge. Which means there's an outer edge, which means they can just go around them because there's an outer edge. They had to literally go close to the ship on the outer edge to shoot it. Just go around it. There's an edge. You shot the edge ship.
And you even see when they launch the pulse. I don't know what kind of distance we're talking about here, but that's a far distance from where they are to where they shot the pulse.
Or it's a tiny grid.
Yeah, exactly. Like, again, it raises too many questions.
And it's fine if there was no ship, but that's clear the fleet. That's clear they're all those dots are their ships. Those ships are together.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see the Romulan fleet, and it's just like, what? Like, ugh.
I just love the graphic of the Sutherland. It's like, it's the edge. You shot the edge. Just go around it.
Yep.
It's not that far.
Yep.
It's just dumb.
Well, Picard, they like, okay, signal the fleet. We're going to move back. We're going to, reassemble at Gamma Eridon.
Stuart, oh wait, look, we've got 14 warp trails passing us now. Damn it! That's it. That's the end of the situation. When they're redeploying, they go past you. You've lost. Like, they can't have the grid if they're redeploying. If they're traveling warp, they can't have the grid.
Well, they can move with the grid, I guess.
Not a warp, though.
The way it's said, it's like, yeah, let's deactivate the grid, move back, and reestablish things.
In which case, they've already passed us.
Yeah.
Like, it's a
Yeah, I
nonsense
know.
thing. It's a stupid situation. Why would Sela wait?
Because the next order that's received on the Sutherland is all Federation ships are to proceed at maximum warp to Gamma Eridon.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's pack up, get over there, and reestablish the net there. So, just stupid.
Yeah, and even if they did, they're not going to be able to warp out in the same formation because they just lost the Sutherland, the other, the Excalibur, so they have to reformate. And if the directors can't, well, no, we did see them. We saw that one of Deredex go up beyond maximum speed, but they burned out the warp drive. So now they can go faster than warp 9.3 for a limited time. They only have to go for a couple of minutes max. And like I say, if they're going back to this point in Klingon space, just go around them. If they can keep going closer, then again, just...
But then Data goes and checks the long range sensors, and you can actually read some of this. Oh, tachyon transformations do not exist. If, however, there is an infinite sunset of... It's not quite clear enough to read.
Also,
but...
I love how there's an LCARS in the LCARS.
Yes.
Like, I have that in all my fan films because it happens to be, but it's just like, you've already got the outside bit. It's because that's the actual screen.
It's harder and harder to read, guys.
It's just make it full screen. You've got the LCARS frame. But it's a thing. It's a thing.
Jarzia, $5. We found a way past the blockade. Sela, show me. Well, our helmsmen realize space is 3D, and we can fly around it in any direction. Sela, brilliant. Their pattern indicates two-dimensional thinking. Ah, shit.
What my mum would have thought. Yeah, I do like.
But here's where the
yeah.
first. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's fine. You could...
I was gonna say this is where the first officer comes and says, "What are you doing?" He does make a suggestion or a comment saying, by disrupting the tachyon grid, they may have, increased the tachyon decisions around their own ships. And the guy's like, "But we have no way of detecting that." And he just turns around, goes back to him, and is like, "F you," and goes to his own thing. I feel bad for the first officer at this point. Yeah, he was a little bit of a dick at first, but
respectful.
I think
dick.
I would like to have seen more of this guy. I like the actor, and I would like to. Yeah, I would like to see.
Well, he feels like a perfect XO for Jellicoe. Like,
yeah,
he's on the book, to the letter, professional, knows what he's doing, clearly knows his crew, clearly cares a lot because he's fighting for his crew every step of the way, as he should do. The guy who's going to warp, like every other officer in the bridge, just does the orders without questioning. But as we say later on, you should question bad orders, and Data is not going to be orders that he's justified, which doesn't need to, but as XO's job is to secure the ship and the crew, and Day's already once potentially hurt the crew by radiation, he's proven already that he's at least willing to have this debate of crew's lives, whatever. So yeah, and he could have explained it between the outside console and the inside console, as other officers would do,
And Data should have just messaged Picard if they're not transmissions aren't being monitored, to let him know what's going on, because it is kind of sketchy as a first officer who already doesn't trust the guy. Now he's disobeying a direct order from the fleet commander and doing his own thing. I'd be like, should I be mutinying right now and taking over my ship because this guy's gone AWOL?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
And
Data, just say something.
And Data gets more and more stern with him to the point where and I know it feels like he's kind of mimicking other command styles. He's not being actively aggressive. He's just copying, because he's done laughing and joking and smiling, just copying programs. So I think that's what he's doing there. But the second in command, the fact that Data has to push him, and well, we'll get there in a minute. But yeah, it's real. He's basically just saying, do what I say, even though you have no reason to trust me necessarily. End of. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's bring the phasers back online. Flood 3 decks with radiation. We will then initiate radiation protocol when necessary. You don't give a damn about the people whose lives you're throwing away. We're not machines. Mr. Hobson, you will carry out my orders, or I will relieve you of duty.
Which is not a good reaction to, you're going to hurt my crew. That's a bad reaction to how you're going to hurt my crew.
Yeah.
Like, what you do say is, well, evacuate those decks. There you go. End of the argument. Like, what? You know what I mean? It's a stupid non-argument. It's forcing this conflict that shouldn't be here. It's odd.
Yeah, and then Picard's like, "Why have you guys stopped?" Oh, not going to tell you.
And you
Do a
love
sensor sweep. That is an awful view screen, by the way.
Oh,
This is definitely an auxiliary control room of some sort.
yeah, I was embarrassed for them. It's literally just like, I mean, that's a door, isn't it? That's just a door with
Looks
stuff in
like
front of it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it is.
The graphics look good. The scan looks good. Putting the tachyon stuff on looks good.
It's literally a set. They just shoved a box in front of a door and put a blue screen on as a green. Oh, that's so bad. Like, oh, it's embarrassing. No, but did you like how when they cut to Picard, being like, they've come across his face, like, oh shit, what's the android doing? Like, he's 100% thinking,
This is exactly why I didn't give him this initiative.
No, seriously, like, first command, and he's breaking my orders without being, like, he could have just hailed me and told me. This, like, he's proving the point here, at least in the context of what's happening. I mean, Data did take over the ship once with his brother. Is that easy? Yeah. And the Romulans took over Geordi once. It was that easy. So, yeah.
Anyway, we overlay tachyon things, concentrate a sensor sweep, and we get some bleeps and bloops.
But at least he does explain it here. I appreciate there's a bit more of a back and forth, which is good.
The question I have, he said, bring phasers back online, and then he goes on to order reconfigure photon torpedo warhead yields for level 6. Well, that won't do anything. Just do it. Fine, torpedo's ready. It's like, okay, why are you bringing the phasers back online if you're going to be using the photon torpedoes to detect the ships? Unless you assume the ships are going to decloak and start firing at you. But
in which case, those phasers aren't going to do any good.
Pretty much.
I assume that he doesn't know what's going to happen situation-wise, and so he's just putting both on. So I have no problem with that. But yeah, it definitely feels a bit odd to actively call for that when it's irrelevant beyond,
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know why he's questioning the torpedo order. That seems like just do what he said. Like, of all the orders you should have questioned and stood up for, that who the hell cares about that one? He's already radiating his crew. Doing torpedoes is irrelevant at this point. But now he's blunt forced him into being aggressive. That he's just like, fine, I'll do whatever you say, and I won't question it. I'll blindly follow orders like you're blindly, like you, Data, are blindly disobeying orders.
Because he brings up a few times, are you going to answer Captain Picard? No? Okay, we'll just keep doing this then.
And why aren't you? And it would have been great, like you say, if the payoff had been, like, instead of just walking away, which we'll get to in a minute, if he'd actually turned back and said, the Romulans would be monitoring our communication. So we had to just do things, we had to act instantly. But it's, yeah, Data does not look very good in this episode. He's kind of proving he shouldn't be captain, let's be fair. At least not yet.
Romulans are detected, and Seela's like, we're bugging out. Well, without the supplies, they won't win. Too bad. They're on their own.
I mean, you could just attack the
Federation. Quick wrap up.
Why don't you just at this point just attack the Federation and then destroy the fleet so that they have no proof? The one thing I might try.
Well, no, then you're going to war with the Federation.
Unless you kill them all first.
But still, there's going to be evidence of that.
Yeah, but it's just such a poor little, like, torpedoes and ships. And surely, though, they've... But does that mean they've fired torpedoes into Romulan space? Isn't that an act of war? Because either the Romulan ships are in Klingon space, in which case they're breaking a treaty, before torpedoes into...
They're level 6. Level 6 yield. That's just, like, a spitball.
But surely any excuse for war, like, either way, one of them's broken a treaty, in which case they should, they should be able to have a problem with it. Because they fired torpedoes at Romulan ships. And if they're in Romulan space, they fired weapons. Irrelevant.
No, they're firing weapons at a tachyon distortion.
But Romulans have cloaks.
They didn't think ships were there. The ships weren't supposed to be there, so...
Well, they're in their space
Either way.
Why don't they have to be there in space cloaked? We saw them a minute ago. No, it's daft. It's a whole load of daft.
There's too many what ifs.
And then what's this final scene with the guy? What's the dialogue here?
The guy Data gets called captain for respect. That's the last thing.
Which is fair.
Says. Yep. Yes, sir, captain.
Which is nice.
Then we get defeat.
Not a good payoff.
Yeah. And then defeat. Where are the Romulans? They never came.
Yeah, why are they bombing Kronos? Like,
I don't know.
Because this is Kronos.
Well, that would be Lursa's people trying to shoot. I don't know.
Although we already heard that the planet's neutral and there are bars when both sets of people live, so you're bombing neutral territory when you could have bombed them at any point and killed them. I don't know why this is important. I don't know why this is here.
Very good point.
Like, don't bomb Kronos. And it's also the same map painting as was always used, so arguably this is the council area. Like, it looks like it. I don't know why this was necessary. You didn't need it.
Then they take kill Worf. Worf kicks the shit out of the Romulan, and B'Etor and Lursa bugger off and leave little shithead there by himself, Movar, whatever the hell his name is.
Which is good. Like, I like their acting.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Kern comes in, checks on Worf. Worf's good. And it's like, you little bastard.
My only note here
Which I'd be shitting bricks if I was him.
Oh, yeah, he's dying. I mean, he basically tried to coup the planet, so... I just find it so odd that he's living on Kronos, a few doors down from Gowron. There's a civil war, but they both live next door to each other. Like, that's so strange. Do you know what I mean? Like, they knew exactly where he was. There's no, like, let's find Worf. They just went to Duris's house. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, like... there should be tension here, but there really isn't. Because you're like, well, it's obviously not neutral, is it? If you can come kidnap him from his own house. Weird.
Well, here comes I'm here to, place disciplinary actions for disobeying your orders. Well, Starfleet doesn't need people to blindly follow orders. That's justified too many tragedies in our history. So we want officers that'll analyze the situation and do And I've noted it in your record that you did a fantastic job on your first command. Nicely done. Big smile.
Although, just for the record, your bridge crew doesn't like your command style. They have notes. It's called Don't Be Holdo. And like I say, it's just so bizarre to have this scene 2 scenes away from having the moral of do follow blind orders that don't make sense. And this scene is don't follow blind orders. You've got a commendation for it. Like, again, the other guy was in the right for the most part, just his tone of voice. And if the actor had been more positive and more happy about it, it would have been... They shouldn't have both scenes side by side. It doesn't play well. It makes a bit of a mockery of it, honestly.
Yeah. But then the whole last scene of... the House of Duras will one day rule the Empire. Perhaps, but not today.
Yes. But I admire
Worf,
the guy for he's lost everything. He's still saying it. Like, he's a little shit, but that's pretty damn brave. I give him credit. That's a very Klingon thing to say.
Yeah, Terrell. Sorry, that's his name. Yeah. Gowron gives Worf his life, and of course Worf, doesn't want to do anything, or he frees him essentially, and then it's like, oh, it's on to Kern. No, I'm the older brother. He gave me his life, and
yeah.
Worf, you want your job back at Starfleet? Sweet.
It's an odd wrap up.
Again, too quick.
It's inorganic. It's very much like, well, why is Worf on the Enterprise Nemesis? Why does Worf want to be back in Starfleet and have a promotion? Because we've already filmed episode 2. Although I do like... I really wish this scene half works, but I wish Worf had thrown the dagger to the ground and said, "No, Duras, the biggest dishonor is to let you live." That's the point. Letting him live is a bigger dishonor than killing him. Like, it's not the Klingon way, but it's more dishonor. They use that trick later, just to say, "Oh, I don't care. He didn't hurt me." That's not a very Worf thing to do or say. It should be, "This is worse than death." Is knowing you've lost, a failed coup and not been honorably killed. Like, there's an easier way out to make it better, but they kind of play it the non-Klingon way, which is weird.
See, even him throwing the knife down, saying there's been too many dishonorable deaths in this chamber within the last 24 hours. Or something.
That's also
I
looking at you, Galron, bitch. Yeah.
No, I'm looking at you like this.
Yes.
You look at these eyes, you think dishonor? No, I'm all the honorable. Yes.
Yep. So that's the end of that one.
Oh, this is Jericho. Yes, you're right, but doesn't know. He could have met them there. There's no reason why he's on the Enterprise per se, or serving as tactical officer. He could have travelled there by any other ship. DS9 has a lot of ships going to and from. Just remember that. It's a spaceport.
Jarzia, $5. For every Klingon rule, there is another rule that can be used as an excuse to break it. Basically, they do whatever they like and say honor. Rawr. That's exactly right. Yes. Yes, it's true.
Yeah. You wonder why Worf left.
That was precedence.
Worf gets 2 weeks of it. He's had enough. Literally.
Yeah.
He is left.
Yep.
Whew, Stuart. There you go.
Now that you're back on the Enterprise, you're an ensign again. What? Shit.
That'd been funny. Yeah. Like no punishment for quitting and fighting a war that they're not allowed to fight. No, it's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Okay.
Yeah.
So guys.
Well.
Here's a wrap up.
Yeah, it is the wrap up. So what we're going to do is we're going to give our scores out of all of TNG and out of season 5, which is this is the first one. So, and we want you to do the same. So if you super chat them, I will read those after we've done our little wrap ups. And so if you super chat your scores, or if you want to put just the scores in a regular chat, Samuel will read those afterwards. But out of 10 for all of TNG and or season 5 would be great.
And we definitely want a super chat and like Spike because it's been okay,
yes.
but we could do at least with another. What are we at? I'm 50. Honestly, I'll go ambitious. If you can get anyone into 50, that'd be great. So if everyone puts in a 5, what you think, that would be ideal.
And another 15 likes would be great. If you haven't hit like yet, hit that like button. Let's hit 120 likes if we can. That'd be great.
Yeah.
All right. As I said, going into my thoughts on this, I enjoyed this one more than I thought I would, more than I remembered. The Sela stuff was pretty good. It kind of got to the point really quickly, but that's okay. The tachyon detection grid, great idea. It doesn't work in practicality with the way space works, being 3D and all, and just the vast amounts of distance that are involved. Too many problems as far as that goes, plot-wise. But it was simple. It did what it needed to do, I guess. Wish I would have seen more external to the fleet. The Klingon stuff was pretty good. Kern really shone in this one for me. Really good job with from Tony Todd. Other than that, I mean, the data and first officer thing was good, but again, more time needed to be focused on each individual thing. It was very quickly one and done, unfortunately. Well, 2, because it's a 2-parter, but definitely could have been a 3 or 4-parter, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, for season 5, I'll give it I'm going to say 7 out of 10, with the caveat that we can change that later when we do our retrospective. For all of TNG, so far, last season was so stellar. For me, it's going to get a 6 out of 10. Lots of good elements that could definitely be expanded into better episodes or stories. It was just kind of glazed over and done rather quick. It was rushed along. So that's where I stand.
Two brief questions, though. Do you think you enjoyed part 1 or part 2 more?
I'm trying to remember part 1 now. I probably enjoyed part 1 more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I actually want to say part 2 at this point, but I actually think that I enjoyed part 1 a little bit better. Okay, so that's the one question. Next.
And how do you feel, given all the thoughts I've had and things I've pointed out throughout the episode?
Oh, yeah, stuff that I never thought about. The fact that the Vorcha's there after... He's obviously in the council chambers, because he wouldn't leave Kronos at this time, you'd think. There's just, some stuff that you caught that I didn't even notice, which I hate you for because it just makes it seem more stupid now. So, good job.
I mean, do you like it any less now I pointed out the billion things I see?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Which is amazing because we went into the last part and this part, you being like, I don't like Klingon stuff, like this specific stuff. And then you were like, oh, I really like the last one. I was like, I do too. And I was waiting for you to not like this one. And I didn't like it. And you liked it. So if we'd told ourselves a couple months ago, you'd be the like of these two, we would not believe us.
No, I wouldn't
think. So for me, this one is it's like they battered and they swung and they missed every time, but they still managed to walk the plate. You know? They still got some points, but nothing they tried really hit. Like any of it. It needed 2 parts or 2 less story beats to really give it some core. It doesn't successfully finish the season, last season. It doesn't successfully give an arc for anybody. It wraps up too quick and so unsatisfying. It has unnecessary scenes that are wasting time. It wastes the Sealer reveal with very little payoff. The main plot line is garbage with the net, complete garbage. Just doesn't. It's Discovery level. It's sonar in space. It's the exact same level. And if I get to call out sonar in space and we can detect a cloak Klingon ship from across the quadrant, I'm not gonna give them. I'm not gonna let them get away with. We can not fly around it and not even mention it. Like it doesn't get it. Doesn't get a pass because it's TNG. Sorry, bad is bad. And so when so much of it is so heavily flawed, it's under mediocre. And because it does a few things well, those little moments, those little dialogue moments with Kern and Worf are nice. They're just in a poor set with poor lighting. The Gowron scene is good in any other episode, just not in this episode, you know? Picard is very strong, he doesn't have much to do. He's very powerful in his little moments, but they're not overly good scenes. Sealer, terrific promise, poorly done, as often. Worf being a Klingon, having that storyline, given no good payoff. At least Kern's in it quite a lot. Giving Deanna 2 lines. Should have been 3. Data, first time being a captain, has potential, falls a little bit flat, comes across one-dimensional, and it's freedom. Riker being in command of an ambassador, second in command of his fleet, could have been a really cool thing. So nothing it tries it succeeds in particularly, and I didn't really enjoy the watch. It just feels like a 2-parter that was forced into one without the money of a 2. And you know, it should have been Redemption Part 3. Easy peasy. And I was surprised. I thought I was going to like it more. I was honestly going in thinking, this is going to be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I went in with, I don't remember anything about this episode. So.
Yeah. Well, I remembered liking it more than I did. But I haven't seen it for a while. So for me, this season is so unfair, as we know. I'm going to go straight 5 because I don't remember the season. But I think for overall Trek, it's going to be at a 4. It's absolutely under average.
Okay.
I couldn't in good conscience give it anything more than a 4 for all TNG because most TNG is better, and this one, yeah, and I think easily this is probably one of the worst of the season. I'm assuming it is, so my score will probably be a 3 or 4 by the end. But I gotta watch the season. Like if this was in last season, it'd be a 3. You know, it'd be one of the worst of last season easily. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's not good. It's not bad. But it tries to do too much, and none of it done particularly well. So that's just me. And I think I've given my reasons quite adequately. I don't think I'm being too unfair. I have lots of small reasons. You know? Yeah.
All right, well. Mebril, son of Korlak, puts in $2, 105
Say
likes.
it actually. Say it like a Klingon. Say it like a true warrior.
Mebril, son of Korlak.
Of Korlak.
$2. 105 likes.
Glory to you and your Korlak.
Jarcia, $5. 6 out of 10 for TNG, 4 out of 10 for season 5. It's iconic and very memorable from my childhood, but now looking at it, it's far too much that just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Mebril, son of Korlak. Damn you. $5. 6 out of 10 for season 5, 5 out of 10 for TNG. All the elements worked, but it suffered from pacing issues and lack of good CG. Would have been good as a 3-parter. Kapla.
Yeah. Because this was the biggest single fleet actions, except Best of Both Worlds, and this was actually on screen that happened, and yet it was the weakest on screen because nothing happened. Yeah, weird.
Matt Boardman, $5, 7 out of 10, just for Seela's Romulan wig alone.
Yeah, it's a good wig. It's actually, I actually like her look. I wish the ears were a bit more pointy. I kind of wish they had full-on ears, but I get why not?
Yeah. Guys, put in the regular chat if you want scores for just the regular chat. There's a 7 out of 10 there from Devo. But yeah, and any more super chats would be great. Like another $20. Yeah, $25 would be fantastic.
14 and 33 cents, so real close actually, which I kind of nice to see it sort of go up slowly. But 2008 Trojan says, "Sheesh, Commander, that was rough. Hey, I call it like I see it. I'm very fair with stuff on all the shows. You gotta be.
Yep.
But this would actually be a really fun one, I think, to re-edit and add the CG and like add scenes from other TNG episodes if you could. I don't know how you would exactly, but see if you can kind of find some other nuggets. Maybe like take some scenes of Riker from the Hathaway and include them as him on the bridge. Do something like that to kind of extend it a little bit. I'm sure you could probably easily pull out data from some other moments, some other episodes, and kind of have some plans. There's things you could do to hell of a thing to do. But this one is ripe for extending,
Yeah.
And actually, I'd love to see if this was like a cutting room floor episode as well. Like maybe this one, like it was actually like a 65-minute script, and they had to cut it down to the 40 or the 50, and they were like, they just had to cut out too many moments. They're either half done or.
I could believe that.
Yeah.
I could definitely believe that. So yeah, put in the chat, guys, what you think. Another 12 likes would be fantastic. Like I said, another $20, $25 would be amazing to round out. Next week.
Yes.
I want to say, this week actually, tomorrow we'll have a top 10 list, which was a special request from Olivia, Federation President.
Yes.
And it'll be top 10 Star Trek one-liners or memorable quotes. Maybe this would be better. Thursday, we'll also be doing a live this week, which I have an idea for, but I'm not going to talk about it yet. And next week, Tuesday, is May 4th. So we'll probably do something Star Wars related next week to kind of break up the Star Trekkiness, maybe. And then Wednesday, we'll probably go into the next episode of our reviews, which is Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra.
And that will be really interesting to see if it holds up. Pretty interesting. Because that's a very conceptual one. Like, that has to work on the levels that you think it does for it to work. Like, Measure Man did work. It did still absolutely work in its original way. Yeah. But some non-Super Chat scores, though, we have. I already scrolled. 8 out of 10, 8.5, 6, 8, 7, 7, 8, 7, 10. 10?
10? What?
7, 5, 6.8, and there you go. So yeah, but I gave my reasons. I'll stand by.
Yeah. Oh, perfectly good reasons. Absolutely. Eric Martin, though, throws in $10. So thank you very much, Eric.
Ooh, so close.
He says, too tired to be witty, but wanted to contribute. Waiting on some pizza, so keep talking, guys.
Oh, I could do some
we
pizza
need
right now.
10 more likes.
Ooh.
Would be great. I don't know if that's possible. If 10 people out there haven't hit that like button, please
I'd love to
consider
see
it.
that. Nice.
Another $10 would be great. Another $10 in super chats would be great. Don't forget, there's the last super chat slot, which is now owned by Eric Martin.
Ooh.
Anybody wants to snipe?
The big yellow one too.
Feel free. But we got another 8 out of 10, a 7 out of 10, another 8.
I would just be surprised though if we actually put this against other ones. We say 8 out of 10. I think you'd see this is not an 8 out of 10. I understand why people are saying, "Oh, I like it," but 8 out of 10 is a hard one to get to. I think you actually start comparing to real 8 out of 10s. You'd be like, "Oh, that's better. That's better. That's better." Yeah, obviously, in the top 20% of TNG. Yeah, no, not really. But guys, I'm 3 days away from launching my crowdfunder for some Star Trek stuff I'm doing, which Stuart is in. Friday the 30th. We hope you will be interested in the stories we want to tell and may contribute. There's some fun perks. I literally can't make all of them without it, and I'm hoping we get more so I can make more stories. I'm trying my bloody darndest to make cool CG and cool sets. You know me, guys. I'm going the absolute extra mile. So if you can support on that day, that'd be lovely. Hopefully one of the okay, I almost gave away how many, but one of the things we've got will tease you and help us out. The Trekyards doesn't tend to give to my fan films, which is a little bit sad, but that's okay. No pressure. But it'd be nice if this time we kind of tease you into it. It'd be fun.
It's worth it, guys. Trust me. I know it's on the horizon. Pardon the pun.
Which also, speaking of,
is on the horizon.
Yeah, I literally am. Yeah, you haven't seen. Oh no, you saw it. You saw the episode, didn't you? Yeah, you see me on the horizon.
I did.
Yeah, what do you think? My first scene. Oh yeah.
It was fantastic. I love that scene with you and her. That was so well written. I'm so jealous. I want to be in a scene like that.
Wait, was that good. Sarcastic?
It was very naturalistic.
Really?
It's a joyride.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
It was good.
Thank you. I'm quite often you always self-deprecating on your own, like you're always self-conscious of your own work, but I thought that was the worst scene of the whole thing, easily.
No. It felt very natural and very good. It's good to see you kind of having fun because you're always such a stay-ass.
I'll tell you a joke about that scene. Literally, only you like two people in this entire chat know what we're talking about, but we're waiting for a few more likes, aren't we? That scene was so difficult to edit because in the scene,
3 more likes.
In the scene, I don't know the lines, but I know the line next. And so I'm treating it like a real conversation where I'm like talking instantly to her. So editing was the most mother bad thing because I keep genuinely throwing a line in as soon as I have time to. But you have to wait so I can cut between. So I really screwed myself with the editing process because I got no editing. Like the edit is the only edit I could make that works, which is not how I wanted to make it look. So it's a bit bitty because I'm like trying to edit around my own restarting. And then actually you can hear a few of my, like, there's lots of little subtleties to that where you can kind of see my problems. And I'll learn that for next time. Give myself time to edit in the future. I was so in the scene. I was so, like, acting, as an acting mode. But
it's funny you mentioned that because when I'm filming my reviews and stuff, a lot of times I don't leave enough room for inserts or fade outs or, I sometimes screw myself too, editing-wise. That's funny.
Yeah, for sure. But that was fun. Any thing that you liked especially out of that film? Long Way From Home? Without spoiling it? Anything that starts being like I
said,
cool.
That scene was probably my favorite, and I don't know why. It's the most memorable part for me.
Well, it was real people really
I'd seen parts of it before. I'd seen parts of it before that you had showed me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just wish there was sound in space.
There's some sound.
Not a lot of sound. There needs to be more with the ships, in my opinion. But
well, as I've said to other people, the problem is the more you put in, the more people expect. But I have no ability in sound design, and I haven't got the sound library. So at a certain point, you're like, well, I can't do these sound effects. So I did as many as I could. There should be more, but I can't do them. And if I do any more, you'll think, well, why isn't that doing it? Why isn't that? It's like as soon as you start putting bleep, bleep, bleep for every single press, do you have every single press for every character? Well, you can't do that, and they don't do it in the show either. They don't do it for some presses. So I did a lot, but I should have done more, but I just can't. Hopefully, though, for next film, I can get a sound person maybe who can do that, but I certainly can't. And
he needs help with Sydney Go-Go, guys.
Yeah, that's always my weakest thing. But no, Long Way From Home coming out on the 30th as well. As a way of promoting Indiegogo, a full Star Trek fan film, short film, but it's not really that short, is it? Actually, it's called a short film, but it's not actually short. It's actually quite long when you think about other shows.
It's good though. It is good. It is very good. I will say that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, let's get to the super chats real quick. 3 more likes, guys. We want to hit 120. That's 3 more. 3 people out there haven't hit like.
3 more.
Jarzia, $2. Temba, his arms wide. Indeed. There's going to be a lot of those comments during that review.
No, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Sergeant Montgomery, $10.
Ooh.
Like an incognito Tal Shiar sniper from the shadows. Snipe.
I feel like they couldn't miss, though. I feel like that's too good. That sniper will be dead, and then we can't keep doing the live chats. That's the secret, guys. You've got to snipe us, but miss.
Where are we here? Mabnil, son of Korlak, $2. Merib, with sails unfurled. Indeed. Samuel, with nipples of thrusting power. Look out, puts in £1. Matt Boardman, $5 for Sam. This episode, Shaka, when the walls fell.
I'm excited to see it. I really am. I haven't seen that. I only seen it once, and it was when I was a kid, so I'm excited.
Jarzia, $2. Sokath, his eyes uncovered.
It's just going to be all next week, isn't it? Make
I know.
Throw in your quotes.
And I'm looking forward to the Trekyards one. Samuel, his sleek unfurled. Don't know. Something.
Stuart, his beard grown longer without anyone noticing.
And then short again. What the hell happened? AC Costello, $2. This is for the interactive live chat. Good peeps.
Do try.
And Mebnil, son of Korlak, $2. Cheeky feckers snipe. All right. Two more likes.
Two.
I don't think we'll get because hounding for 3, just barely got 1, but that's okay.
So close. 2 more.
I even hit like when I first scheduled this one, so that's what. Oh, we need 1 more like now. Just 1. There's 1 person out there.
Right there. It's not a lot to ask for, really.
Thumbs up. It's the thumbs up. You just have to make it blue.
It's a button and you click it.
Samuel, his smooth chest uncovered. I think that's the other way around. It should be Captain Foley.
But yeah, if you like the Type 9 shuttle and you want to see it like you've never seen it before, which I think is a fair comment about my film, Stuart.
Yeah.
Then tune in.
Absolutely.
For the 30th. And I would honestly love, and there's 76 of you, I'd love a lot of you to comment on the video, because obviously I've put in months of hard work, and just to get some feedback on it would be appreciated. I'm sure I'll post on the Trekyards group, but you know, if you love ships, etc., I think you're gonna like it. And there we go, we got 120. Super. When the live chat and the live stream stops.
All right, there we go, guys. So until tomorrow, we will see. Oh, Jarzy at $2. Next Trekyards, Foley, his sobriety lost. On that note, see you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.